Okay. She's doing her hellos to her audience, and then we're getting it going.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, hello. Welcome in.
Thank you.
How are you?
Uh, I'd say pretty good.
That's good. I like your shirt, by the way. I want to say
Oh, thank you.
that he would never gaslight you.
Yeah, it's it's my favorite Mr. Girl shirt that I have.
Oh, Mr. Girl.
Somebody did not do their homework about me, I can tell you that.
I mean, I know, but I kind of keep myself in a 10-foot pole, you know. I could confess some things to you off stream, but yeah.
I would say Mr. Girl's probably the only reason anybody knows who I am.
Oh, so you're famous because of him, or you're infamous because of him.
Yeah, if you were to go to Stardust's uh YouTube channel, like her fourth most popular video was me debating like 10 people at the same time in defense of Mr. Girl.
Interesting. And how did that go for you?
I think I won.
Who else was on?
Oh shit. Doobie was there. There was one guy there who kept just like trying to like make fun of me, but he was like really bad at it.
Yeah.
So I just sort of like brushed him off. Stardust was there. I think Queen Alexa was there, but they weren't one of the people like arguing with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's been a while.
Oh,
Um,
Doobie, he doesn't like the Bunani. It's sad. Very sad for him.
let's see. Who else was there? Beckett was there. Uh, Ginger Ramuth was there. Zonia came in. It was just, and then a couple people that I don't really recognize when I look at the VOD here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were just like firing questions off left and right. Um, but I'm a Mr. Girlologist, so I had all the answers.
Nice.
But yeah, so he's holding his cat, and it says, "Daddy would never gaslight you." He said it in he was holding his cat, and he said it in one of the videos, and his girlfriend drew it up, and he's like, "Okay, that's gonna be a shirt," and I was like, "I'm buying it right away."
Of course, you gotta support your friend, huh?
Um, I think the term that we use is colleague.
Yeah, oh, yeah, colleague. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, well, that word is a loaded word.
Well, so is friend in this space, so
True. True. I mean,
got
I
to be
can
aware of
say,
the parasociality.
I mean, you mod for him, don't you?
I used to when he well, I guess technically I am still a mod in his like on his website, but it's pretty chill there. I don't really have to do much there, but like when it was like YouTube, yeah, I was my modding was actually the reason why like we ended up having to get like some more clear-cut rules because not all the mods agreed with how I was modding.
So you
He,
were the fire starter.
kind of, and I also stirred up a bunch of shit because somebody got banned for something that somebody got banned from the YouTube chat, and it turned out to be like somebody just did it by mistake. But I lost my mind. I was like, no, we're not banning people without good reason. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, That makes sense. I mean, there's truths that you do have to have clear cut rules and rules when modding, but
We didn't though. There was he refused to give us. I even asked him, "Hey, could you give us like some clear guidelines here?" And he said no. I was like, "Well, all right. Well, the big one that I enforced that people had like some of the other mods an issue with was no commenting on other people on any of the guests' bodies or Mr. Girls because he said that he doesn't like that. And I was like, you know, that's fucking fair. Um, there was a guest one time who was missing an arm or a hand on his arm, something like that, and people kept talking about it. And I'd warn people first, but like after I've done warned you, like, okay, well, you're muted for like 3 minutes. I'm not so sorry if you can't deal with that.
that seems reasonable, especially if someone is missing a a leg or an arm or what have you.
Yeah, and you don't know what people are like worried about, and if you're being interviewed by somebody and you're like worried that like your hair's fucked up or something, it's going to diminish the experience for the guest. It's going to diminish the experience for the streamer and the audience. So just don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't care if people do it in my chat, because I'm just not going to read it,
Yeah.
at least not out loud. So, but yeah, that caused a whole thing.
Good job.
Thanks.
Good fucking job. It's all your fault.
I think I can live with that.
Some can and some can't.
True.
Glad that you are one of them.
Uh, so we met on Kai's panel, and
Yes.
for lack of a better way to put it, I know it doesn't necessarily work this way, but like we were kind of on the same side for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I thought you were super interesting because you're a person who seems at least somewhat invested in their own religion, but you're also really reasonable. Um, and you're not like the fact that you were on the side of like, hey, maybe we don't need religion to trump other things. Religion doesn't have to be like it can take a back seat to like other kinds of rights. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Most people don't have this kind of position at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically formed. I strongly believe in the separation of church and state. And it is written in the Constitution as that way. I was brought up to believe in such that that's something that makes America quote unquote great, you know. And that's also something that I believe in my own religion, that you have freedom of religion to choose what you want to believe in, and there should be no compulsion in religion. And that's what I believe, and that's what the Quran states.
Hey, I think I agree with that. I also, it's really funny. One of my friends, they were really shocked, who I was streaming with, when I said, they tried to say like, well, uh, like you wouldn't say that if it was somebody's religious belief, and I was like, oh, I don't respect other people's religious beliefs. I don't give a shit. Like I won't be rude to them about it, but I'm not gonna cater to their rules. That's insanity. How
Yeah,
could no? We couldn't. Nobody could live that way.
right,
Religions are at odds with each other all the time.
right. I mean, whatever religion like you believe in, float your boat. Who am I to say that you're right or wrong? Unless it's a cult, then well, I'll speak out on some cults, But like other than that, like you're free to choose whatever religion that you want to believe or to choose no religion at all. And who am I to tell you that you should convert to my religion or the religion that you believe in is wrong? You know, there are proven facts and studies of people's brains who believe in religion and things of that sort. So, and it helps
There
people.
are.
And if, like I said, if that was what floats your boat, I'm too busy worried about my own life to be worried about yours, you
Yeah,
know?
I like that.
So, yeah, like I just who am I? I'm not God. I'm not here to judge you. It's not my place to judge you. You know, I'm here to respect you. And I hope that people just give the same respect back. Simple.
You know, it's really funny that you say that because in Christianity, there is a passage in the Bible that says that if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, you are now one of the saints, and that you can judge other people in his stead. But they never say that. I
Yeah.
can't stand people who talk about their religion and like preach it and stuff, and they don't know it. That drives
Yeah.
me absolutely batty.
Yeah.
Um, I think that if you're going to preach any parts of it, that's fine. I have the right to ignore you. But also, if you're going to do it, you should at least come with better arguments. My biggest frustration with religious people is that I can argue your religion better than you. You have a problem. You're
Yeah.
dedicating part of your life, maybe not making certain choices or making certain choices that you feel like you have to make, and you don't really understand it. This shows me a person who's very easily led astray.
Yeah. And you know what? Sadly, and I do talk about this a lot. Um, I watch a lot of 90 Day Fiance. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I secretly got into it and was like, oh shit, I'm really hooked now, right? And oh, I see a lot of young ladies go to Muslim countries and not understand, number one, and then also convert to Islam and not fully understand what they're getting into, what their secular beliefs are in that particular country, and to understand where they're coming from. Because I find that a lot of the times that when especially these white women get into these like religious relationships, they're not always like understanding, and they don't know exactly what they've gotten themselves into,
Sure.
and I think that you can't just jump into any religion just because like you're gonna get married or whatever, and especially in Islam. You don't have to marry another Muslim. Say if I wanted to marry a Christian, I could marry a Christian, and there's nothing wrong with that, you
Sure.
know? Um, but,
Oh
like,
yeah,
I
and
just
they
have
have to stay a Christian too, correct?
like, it's just
They're not
you can be
supposed
a
to
Christian.
convert.
No, they can convert if they choose to convert,
Yeah, you're
but
not
if
supposed
I
to pressure them in any way.
but I would never right. I would never pressure my partner to, like, convert, for me, you know? Like, if that's not their thing, if over time they get interest and they're like, and they wanna know more and maybe, like, baby steps into it, alright, cool, I'd be down for that. But, like, I would never be like, "You need to convert," or "You need to wear, like, a hijab," or, like, "You need to do this," like, never. I would never.
Yeah, it's pretty respectful.
You're supposed to respect another person's religion. That's their choice. Everyone has free will. So if that's not your free will, then,
Uh, yeah, I think that's great. I like that a lot. Especially like I'm a staunch agnostic. Like I firmly am agnostic.
yeah.
Uh, which is kind of a weird position to hold.
I don't think it's weird. I mean, you believe that there's something out there, but you're unsure, and that's fine. Or you believe something's out there and you're sure, but you're just not about any particular religion. I just think that as long as you do good, like, and you're not like hurting people, you're not killing people, like you live your life with dignity and respect and you do the same for others. I don't see why you couldn't technically get into heaven, in whatever religion gets to you after death. We don't know, you know?
Yeah, that's another thing that I think is really interesting about like monotheistic religions. The thing that, or at least monotheistic religious followers, I think that the idea that you have to pick the correct religion in order to be heard or welcomed by God. I usually use Christians in this metaphor. That it's just such like a fickle version of God. Like I just imagine like God plugging his ears, be like, nope, if you didn't say in the name of Jesus, I don't want to talk to you. Like, no, you have to say my kid's name or we're not talking. It's insane to
Right.
me. It's a
Right.
very fickle, immature, childish kind of God. I
Right.
think that if there is such a being, that it's going to be the kind of thing that would welcome a relationship with a person trying to reach out, no matter which path they took to get there. And
Right.
otherwise,
Right.
it just doesn't make any sense. It's such a human version of God.
Right. 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 Exactly. And in Islam, we believe that Jesus isn't the son of God. We believe that he was born of Mary and he was human, and then, he popped out and he was able to preach the word from birth, you know. However you want to believe that is fine, because we also have the dream that Muhammad went to, see places, and I personally think it's a dream. I don't think he physically went there, but that's just me. Everyone has their own personal beliefs around that story and the Quran. But yeah, like it's just like, and I know that it says that like in Christianity, like you have to get through like the Son of God to get through me, but it's just like, I feel like when it comes down to it, then you're conflating God and Jesus. And I feel
Mm.
like you can't conflate Jesus as God. Jesus isn't God. Jesus is supposed to be the Son of God, right? So then why are you praising him as God when there's God?
Almost like the
Does that make
Trinity, right?
sense? Kind of almost like the Trinity. Kind of like the Trinity, but like I hate how like, Christians are just very like Jesus is God. Jesus is God. But then why won't you recognize God? That doesn't make any sense. You
Sure.
know?
Yet Jesus seemed to direct all worship to God rather than to himself.
Right. Right. Exactly, So that's also part of the reason why like I converted, and there's some other reasons, but I was a Christian at one time and I did truly believe, but like I think a lot of it was performance
Sure.
based,
Like
you
pressure from
know.
other people.
No, not even pressure from other people, but just kind of very performative because I did work at my church and stuff for a long time. And so I kind of like got the hang and got to see church life and the politics of church and
Oh,
stuff.
sure.
And so yeah, not quite green leaf status, but like, yeah.
Yeah, I lived in a very, very Christian town for a long time, and
Mhm.
really not a big fan of how people treated people that weren't involved in not just a church, but like their church. It was like a 1 square mile
Yeah.
town, and there's 11 churches in it.
Oh, yeah. So that's very much like northern Colorado. There's like a bunch of churches just everywhere in these little towns, and it's just full of churches, and it's just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like most
just
states,
everywhere you
they're up
go.
north, is like down south.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Let me just take a quick pause real quickly. I need to go take some medications.
Yeah,
Which
no
is should be
problem.
a reminder, people, if you need your meds,
Oh
take
shit,
your meds.
I should take my meds.
Hold up.
Good call. Hey, lady, lady, did you get me my energy drink? Okay, can you get me my energy drink? Thank you. What you guys can't see off screen here is that I'm drafting the new Lord of the Rings set on Magic Arena while I'm having this conversation. I'm playing Mono Blue The Ring. I guess I should say the One Ring. I think I'm gonna lose. Mm, man, I'm full of the ouch today. Really interested to dig in on some of the stuff that she's into. She also said that she wanted to talk to me about Satanism, which I'm pretty excited about. I always like talking about the classic me religions. I'd say for the majority of my life, when I wasn't agnostic, I was either Satanist and I was Wiccan for like 8 years too. Satanism was the longest. That's over. Man. Oh yeah, she's pretty chill. If you guys have any questions about Islam for her, I'm sure you can put them in chat. And if they're not like batshit crazy disrespectful, I'll ask them. What happened? She coming back? My wife was a witch for a hot second, then I purified her soul with my holy seed. Yeah, she's coming back. She said she had to take some meds. Um, so I assume she'll be back shortly. Uh, I don't know. Like you said that in a funny way, so I don't know if you're joking to any degree or not. She liked my Mr. Grill shirt till she found out it was a Mr. Grill shirt. Oh, that's cool. Now, when you say witch, does that mean she was Wiccan too? These are not necessarily interchangeable terms. Needs to be pushing you. Oh, okay. You just talk her out of it? It was the Wiccan one. By the way, I gotta say, I don't know if I ever told you this before, but I love your profile picture. It's so good.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Had to give my animals some more water. It's hot out there, so probably my dog will literally lick that all up in an hour, and then I'll have to give her some more. Uh, okay, so where were we?
Uh, I don't know. I was talking to my endless, bountiful, large chat. Now it's the like the one person that's chatting. Um, I'm not sure. I said that I was talking about how I'm interested in some of your stuff about religion, and that you said before we went live that you were interested in my stuff about Satanism.
Yeah. How did you come to find Satanism?
So when I was in high school, maybe I think by around the time I was 13, um, I for lack of a better way to put it, or more so respectful way to put it, I realized that Christianity was bullshit, and but I didn't know if everything was bullshit. I really liked like Greek mythology and things like that. So I was like, I want to see what else is out there. So I just read as much as I could about as many religions as I could. I just really dove into it super hard. And there is a saying that says the study of religion will inevitably lead one to Satanism. And I think it's a religion that's positions itself in a really good spot to where if you have studied religion, it's going to be very appealing to you because it has deliberately baked in a lot of like the like mystical bells and whistles, but it doesn't claim that it's like necessarily not that. It has the dramatic flair of like ritual and all that, but it doesn't require you to believe in any god. At its source, like if you strip away all of that shit, it's all about making sure that you're good to you, and that you're taking care of yourself, and that you're treating yourself right, and the people around you well. And you're living. I guess what I think most people would agree is living appropriately. The greatest sin in Satanism is stupidity, which is to know what is correct and not have it impact your judgment. And I think that a lot of times I think people's religion challenges them by making them put aside what they can observe and turn inwards and rely on faith in something, whereas Satanism would say rely on what you observe. And if somebody's trying to tell you to rely on something else, call them the liar that they are. So it has like a lot of those appeals to it. And I think I was probably 16 when I got into it, and it glorifies sex a lot, so that was pretty cool. Like for a satanic ritual, like a common altar might be like just like a naked woman might serve as the altar, because I think Anton LaVey says that like a naked female body is certainly good for raising the energy of men in the room. So if you're performing a ritual and you want to get a lot of energy going, it's a pretty surefire way that you're going to get some energy built up.
Uh, so basically, like sex magic or whatever.
Yeah, I think that so in the parts of Satanism, which it doesn't really cover a whole lot about like magic, but there are like magic rituals and things like that in it.
Mhm.
Which like just to be clear, none of the ritualistic aspects about Satanism are like preached as a requirement. You don't have to do any of these things. I
Yeah.
think it's more like these are like the fun parts of the religion. Um, like if you want to be like dogmatically religious and you want to like get into the stuff and do like the things, these are the things. I
Mm.
think he said that if you're going to perform magic, like uh, an orgasm is the greatest release of energy you could direct towards that.
Yeah.
And like and on its face, it's pretty fucking brilliant. In any religion that
Mhm.
talks about like those kinds of rituals, like you're really not going to find a way to get a large number of people to focus their energy on one thing better than like a naked woman sitting in the middle of the room. Everybody is going to have heightened energy and it's all going to be focused in one spot. It's pretty good.
Mhm.
Uh because like most old religions that have like these kinds of rituals, there's a lot of chanting and dancing and singing and things like that to try to get people of like one mind. And
Mhm.
he's like, fuck that. You show people some titties, everybody's thinking about the same thing right now.
Yeah.
Satanists do not sacrifice humans or any other animals for that instance. In fact, the somebody said in my chat, the
Uh,
the founder of the Church of Satan has said the people who think that Satanists sacrifice or do animal sacrifices would make the perfect animal sacrifices
mm.
because he loves animals and they're a part of his life in every way. I do really think that the founder is probably one of the great philosophers of America in the modern age that just don't get talked about very often. It's kind of
Why?
sad.
And who created Satanism?
Anton
Question.
LaVey. Anton Sanzar Levay.
Okay. And why did he do it?
Um, he was tired of the hypocrisy of Christianity. He was an organ player for a local church for money, and then he also worked as an organ player for the carnival. And seeing people go to church and ask for forgiveness to go out and sin on the weekend at the carnival, he just grew really disgusted with it and decided to form his own religion, which was formed as a direct opposition to the church.
And what year was this?
1960. No, wait, he was 1969, I think. It's either 69 or 64. I have 66. Oh, I was just wrong. Um, Weird. Yeah, so April 30th, 1966. And it's still
Inter-
going. If you want to be a card carrying member of the church, they'll actually give you a card. And at least back when I was a teenager, it cost $200. And I really, really love that when you spend the $200, he says it's for my night out on the town. He doesn't bullshit you. He's like, hey, you're paying me. Like it goes into my pocket, and I'm gonna spend it to enjoy my life. Which it's something kind of refreshing about that.
Real capitalism.
Yeah. It's like he had the first like super chat ever, and you got something for it. Like you read his books, and you're like, yeah, I really like this. Like you can give me $200. I'll send you a card. It's like a Patreon membership. You only have to do it once. Oh, have
So,
you ever seen the
go
movie
ahead.
Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah.
He's the
It's been a
devil in
long time.
Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's in one of the like best original horror movies.
That was on TV the other day. And I was like, I've seen it. I'll pass. I'm
Oh,
not like a horror fan, really, but I'm like, I've seen it.
it's probably like I mean it I think it holds up, but it's probably like top 20 my favorite movies. It's really good. Uh,
Mhm.
Really, really, really great example of like what gaslighting actually means. The whole movie is
Yeah,
just a woman being gaslit to fuck by everybody. So good.
right,
And then we got
right.
they made Hereditary, which is like the modern day version of it. Also,
Mhm.
absolute banger. I don't know if you've seen that. That movie is
No,
so good. Uh,
no.
well, sorry to go off on a tangent. You get me talking about
It's okay.
Satanism, I can go.
I could tell. I could tell. I'm over here looking at my cat, making sure she's not gonna jump out my window. So if y'all see me looking over, I'm like, now that it's window season, and last time uh she had windows open, she was a tiny baby, like 2 months old. So now she's a whole year old, and so now it's just like now I gotta really watch her. But yeah, the window is the entertainment always. The
All of
entertainment
my animals
window,
compete for the window.
you know. My dog likes to be outside. My cat would like to go outside, but because she sees my dog outside. But I'm like, the outside is not for you, Rosie. No, kitty, it's not.
We don't have a fenced in yard, but I gotta make sure she's not by me. My one dog's behaved enough to sit out on the patio.
Yeah,
It's like an enclosed one. If she heard me say it, she'd flip the fuck out until we put her out there. So I had to check.
yeah, yeah. That's my dog. Like, if I don't let her outside, she's just like, "But can I go? But can I go? But no. But can I go?"
Yeah, I'll have to. Sometimes I'll have to stop in the middle of a stream, like, hang on, I gotta go put my dog out here. She'll just
Yeah,
be sitting there
yeah.
with her head on my leg, like, please, father. I have been so patient. Like, you have not been patient. Please, father.
That's funny. That's funny, the things we do for our animals. Maybe Rosie will make a her on-screen first debut today. We'll see. We'll see. She's a cutie. She's my Russian blue.
Oh, I have a Russian blue. His name is Iron Mike.
Iron Mike.
Yeah.
That's funny. Mine's Rosie, and my dog's name is Lily. And so my flower children got my Rosie and I got my Lily, and I love them
Um,
to pieces.
our,
They're
our,
sweet,
our dogs have
and they
such
love
grab
each
bag
other.
names. That's funny. I like that you have a theme.
Yeah, yeah. If I should have children, inshallah, in the future, I have themes for my children too with their names. All the same, starting with the same letter. Trying to run that same thing back in my family.
Oh man, I'm sure they'll love that.
you know, I
Everybody points it out all the time.
I know it's fine. It's a thing in my family, so I'm gonna try to keep the tradition alive.
Oh, I guess that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of tradition, are you the only
Mhm.
person you're like you told me that you converted to Islam fairly recently? It's been like a year.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
the
a
only
year.
person in your family?
Yeah, I'm the only person in my well, I can't no, I'm not the only person in my family who's Muslim. I have a cousin who's also Muslim too. But he converted a long, long time ago.
Does that create tension?
No, everyone's free to choose their own thing in my family. None of us were like super religious by any means.
I think that in of itself would be likely to cause tension. That's cool. You must have a really good accepting family.
Yeah, we got a shit ton of gays in my family, and so we're very accepting in my family of other people. It's just like if that's the religion you want to choose, you're a grown ass person. You do you. If it makes you happy, then it makes you happy. Who am I to say anything different?
That's really cool. I have I think my religion thing's always just sort of been like a minor annoyance in my family. Some people have gotten pretty
Mhm.
mad, some people have not gotten like not given a shit at all.
Yeah.
Um but I also have like plenty of other things that get on people's nerves in my family. So like the religion is just sort of part of like me being different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like my family came to visit and they made time for me to like have a towel and get down and pray. And I really, that was really nice of them. They didn't have to do that, but they did that because, that's love and family. So, yeah, like it's as long as just my family accepts me for me, then that's fine.
Um I had my cousin's husband threaten to call the police on me because I was talking to another cousin's girlfriend about religion. And he hated
Uh-huh.
it so much. He said if I didn't stop, he'd call the cops on me. I had a bench warrant for not paying a fine, so you knew if he called the cops, like I would just get picked up and
Well,
went to jail.
yeah.
That's how my family has historically
Mhm.
responded to it, and like nobody was like, "Oh fuck, you're not." That didn't happen. So
Yeah.
it's weird. Um, I have a question
Mhm.
that I like to ask anybody who's pretty religious. Tell me about God.
You need me to tell you about God. God is merciful and compassionate.
So when you think about God, like, okay, so what does God have to be God? What are the qualifying factors here?
Merciful and compassionate.
That's it?
That's it.
Well,
That's what the Quran states, right? That he is a merciful, compassionate, forgiving God. And so that's what I truly believe. Those are your requirements. And there you go, right? And I mean, technically, if you're reading Arabic and Allah, right? Allah
sure.
doesn't have a gender. So Allah could be male or female, right? But then we have to think about the time that it was written in, right? And so that's why they say he a lot, right? Because I
Sure.
mean, if say if Prophet lived during our times, do you think that God would say he? It'd be maybe I or Allah is the word itself, you
I
know?
think that God would necessarily be sexless.
With what? I'm sorry.
would be sexless. Like God is
Yeah.
not doesn't have a physical human body. Like if
Right.
you hear the word of God, somebody's not using a mouth to speak English into your ear. So the idea that God would have a sex just is so silly to me. Like,
Yeah.
uh, what like God has like some kind of like ephemeral like genitals? Get the hell out of here! That makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very silly.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm just like, however, I mean, Gabriel came down to preach the word of God, um, to Prophet Muhammad. So like, it's just, yeah, it's just the time. But like, yeah, I just am like that's what the Quran says a lot of, and that's what I truly believe, that God is a merciful and compassionate and forgiving God.
So I'm gonna ask a question from chat, but before I do that, I want to
Yeah.
point out the definition that you gave for God is something that I could rise to the occasion of. I could be merciful, compassionate, and like what do you say, merciful, compassionate, and forgiving. I could do those things. That wouldn't make me God. What would separate a human who's merciful, compassionate, and forgiving from God then? And I'm not even like trying to like debate you or like debunk God here. I'm just I really like seeing the differences and similarities between people that believe in God, what their idea of God is.
Yep. Sorry, just drinking some water.
No worries.
Like I said, it's hot here. So if y'all see me turn my camera on and off, it's because I'm drinking some water. Um, you cannot perform the miracles that Allah can.
There we go. So, merciful, compassionate, forgiving, and can create miracles.
Can perform miracles, do miracles. Yeah.
Does God have to have created the universe?
Allah created everything.
Okay. So the
So
most common
I
answer I
believe.
get would be omniscient, omnipresent, um, and created. The great creator. These would be like the three qualities that everybody seems to have in monotheistic religions.
One more time, sorry.
Omniscient, omnipresent, and the creator of all.
Hmm.
For every person that I talk to who's like a monotheistic religious person, um, these seem to be the key factors that God must have to be
Hmm.
God.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think omniscient and omnipresent is enough. I think that
Hmm.
it would be I'd be okay. I wouldn't consider like not being the creator, but rather a byproduct of creation. That would
Hmm.
be fine with me. I think that God could still fit the bill for what I would think of as God.
Yeah.
Do you think that if like it turned out like if you found out like that like you die and you go to heaven and you find out God was like, oh, I didn't create everything. Like I'm just as surprised as you are about existence. This is just my position in existence. Would that change the way you thought about the entity?
Mm. I don't know. I think that the way that God dictated it in the Quran makes it so that he did a lot of this on purpose.
Hmm. Okay.
You know,
What if you just
like
created human life or
right,
like
right,
our
because
planet?
right, because in the Quran, right, it says that we come from sperm, says that we come from clot. And so those things are basically life from life, you know. That's basic biology before biology, right? Because
Sure.
that's something that says that okay, like women's have clot, right? Men have sperm. You're born from those two things put together, right?
Sure.
So it's just like I believe that is in everything, and that everything has its place on purpose. Every tree has was designed for a purpose. Every human being has some same functions but has different fingerprints, you know? So it's something like that.
I like that. Cuz being like strictly agnostic, I'll basically I'll argue with anybody who preaches certainty.
Hmm.
And so I usually say, if you want to see the face of God, look at nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
like I think that it's super hard to get a grasp on the idea of what the mind of a higher consciousness might be. But I think that the closest thing I could get to that would be to look at the natural world. If I look at like the laws of physics, if I look at the way like the way that trees grow, or if I look at the way that life comes to be, this
Yeah.
would give me an idea of these are like the fundamental truths of existence, and I couldn't think of anywhere else to look that would
Right.
provide me with more like certainty that if there is something greater, this is like if anything, like this would be like the word in
Right.
flesh.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
somebody in my chat said, "Do he says they? I'm assuming he does. I mean, do Muslims reject the Old Testament, or do you reject the Old Testament because God was all about judgment back then?"
So basically, Islam is the last form of religion from Abraham, right? So every religion is a perfection of God, basically. So first there's Judaism, and Judaism was written the way that it was, right? And then there's Christianity, it was written by the way that it was. And then Allah was like, oh, fuck. Like, look what I created. Look what I've done. I need to like create one more last religion and set the record straight. Islam. So
Uh,
it's not that I reject anything. I believe that uh, um, that was Allah's first go at it, you know? So, and so what we believe is that as long as you believe in Allah, we believe that you are still Muslim if you're Jewish or if you're Christian or anything because you still follow Allah and you still follow the Abrahamic religion.
um, you said during that panel, it's the last one, meaning it was like in chronology.
Yes.
Um, it occurred to me after that that there was another Abrahamic religion that was created after Islam. It was Mormonism.
Mormonism is a cult and it's fake. And it's Christianity basically.
Well, it
But
is,
yeah,
but it provided the
it's
same thing.
not, but it's
It said that
not.
God
It's
said
not
people got it
though.
all wrong.
Because
So we need a new religion.
the thing about it is that so Allah put a stamp on Muhammad. Muhammad was the last and final messenger that he would send and find. So there are no more other messengers. There's no one else that can come and bring another religion. That's it. It's done.
Well, I think Mormonism's pretty silly, but
It is
when I
completely.
talk to when Mormons knock on my door, I always let them in and I talk to them because I like talking about religion. And
Hmm.
one of the times this happened, they said something that I thought was particularly brilliant.
Hmm.
I said, "Why would you believe in Mormonism when you have all these different sects of Christianity out there?" So, like, you're gambling, saying, like, "All right, I'm going with Christianity," and you're narrowing down the field that you're right by like a lot here when you look at all
Hmm.
the other religions, and then you're going, and then from Christianity, I'm going to Mormonism. And he said, Joseph Smith created the Book of Mormon. He created it because God is not the author of confusion. And he said,
Hmm.
all these different sects that are out there, they're out there because mankind is confused about what is correct. So
Hmm.
God reached out to Joseph Smith uh, via the angel that spoke to him so that we could finally get it right. I was like, it's a good fucking sales pitch, man. Holy shit. And it is. And I think about that all the time, that God's not the author of confusion.
Yeah.
Um, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not different versions or interpretations of the Quran. And there can't be because of how it's written, right?
So this is basically it was passed down basically, and it's supposed to be kept the same throughout the ages and things of that sort. But I believe that, there it's a possibility that it could have been corrupted to an extent. I keep that possibility open because at you have to think about times were different, things were going on. Um, but I think for the most part it's been pretty much the same, you know.
Well,
But like I still there's still always a possibility, right? In every religion, there's always a possibility. But I think for the most part, it's been kept the same for 1400 years.
correct me if I'm wrong, but until recently, which I think is
Oh, and also just to say that, like, also the way that Arabic was written way back when, all the little dots and dashes and all that
mhm.
shit, that's not in the original Quran.
uh
None of that was included at the time that Arabic was around and forming.
I didn't know that. Uh
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in so basically, I was just gonna try to say it this time, but it extends everything as a. Please correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
because I think I know some stuff, but maybe I don't know what I think I know. My understanding is that up until recently, the original Quran, like we knew which one it was. It was like, hey, no, this one right here, this is the first one, and
Mhm.
it got destroyed by American soldiers. Is that
Oh, I
correct?
don't know. I don't know. That's
Oh,
beyond my comprehension, to be truthful. But I would be interested to find that out, but like I don't I think the original Quran is buried with one of I think maybe
oh,
with Aaliyah or Khadijah.
I guess it was a different one that happened to. So I just looked it up, and
Yeah.
the I'm gonna butcher this. Ma'il Quran is 8th century Quran. It contains two-thirds of the Quran's text and is the oldest Quran uh, in the world. It was purchased by the British Museum in 1879 and it's now kept in the British Library.
Hmm.
Huh. Uh, that's weird. I always thought that there was that we knew which one was the original one.
No. But like I said, there is another one, but it's buried with someone. Um and like I said, I'm skipping who, but I'm thinking it was his daughter, Prophet Muhammad's daughter, Aaliyah, if I'm correct. I may be just spewing nonsense to you too. So, yeah.
Is 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 there like a living bloodline?
No,
Oh,
no.
I mean, I feel like I would know. I would have known if there was. That'd be
Yeah,
kind of a hard. That'd be
no.
kind of a hard fact to miss. Um,
Yeah. And there was a lot of shit that went down after Muhammad's death because then that's how you get into Shia and Sunni.
yeah.
Because then one believe that like someone should have taken over, and the other person's like, no, this other person should have taken over. So it's like, yeah, that's why I just keep it simple. Just keep it to the Quran. That's why I'm Quran only, Quran centrist, right there.
There's a third sect as well, right? It's like
Sufism.
I don't know. I thought it was like the International something of Islam. Brain slipping.
No, those are the main two sects of Islam: is Sunni and Shia.
I knew about those two. I can't. I don't know who told me this.
But yeah,
So
and then Sufis believe in like the mystical portions of Islam, which is cool.
that is cool.
You do
Um,
you, you know.
when you talk about it being like translations being changed, a guy that
Hmm.
I worked for used to talk to me a lot about the way that in which the Quran was written. It's kind of like the best way that I can interpret what he's saying. It was kind of like it was written in like iambic pentameter almost, to where like if
Hmm.
you changed a single word out of it, like it would fall out of this flow that it existed, and it would be
Hmm.
like really apparent that somebody had changed it. It's
Hmm.
almost like a long. like religious poem that followed a
Yeah.
certain rhythm, and like if that rhythm like were changed, it just wouldn't work anymore.
Yeah, like if you listen to it and the way that people who recite it
Mhm.
in Arabic, it sounds like a like a music piece almost, you know.
He'd
It's
put
very
inflections
beautiful.
on certain words when
Yes.
he would cite it,
Mhm.
and like he would like
Mhm.
use his hand to like demonstrate emphasis on certain things. But I
Mhm.
had no fucking idea, really. It's almost
Yeah.
like reading poetry in another language. Like,
Yeah.
there's like some kind of like almost something akin to like a rhyme scheme here, but I can't quite place
Yeah.
it because the words don't have
Yeah.
like I don't have the understanding of the meaning.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so I didn't know if you had a better idea of like what he was trying to explain to me because he wasn't exactly the most effective communicator
Yeah.
in general.
Mhm.
But he seemed very impressed by this aspect of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds very beautiful if you've ever just sat around and listened to anyone just like recite the Quran, you know? But yeah, I'll probably honestly never learn Arabic, and that's fine by me, you know? Because Allah created all of the languages, and as long as I'm communicating with them, then I'm sure Allah will be able to like hear all the like my English just fine and understand it, you know?
Sure. Uh,
But
what
yeah,
won you
like
over?
it's very beautiful. Mhm.
I've heard what won you over to Islam.
I
It's
mean,
a
it's just something that like I've always like since I was a kid, I was very interested in it, but like it was kind of like the first religion I kind of like learned about in a way. Like I knew about Christianity and like Judaism, and that was kind of like, but like it was just like my mom kind of explaining like, oh, this is the word for Allah. And then like I also had like friends that were Muslim growing up, and so everyone always seemed nice and respectful and kind, and like you know that's fine.
wow.
But like yeah, but I think that it's just me reading the Quran and understanding it really is what converts you and wins you over. Once you take the time to just understand it, then you know
It's fascinating. I almost expected you to say like you had a like revelation or something like that. But it
no.
sounds like what you're saying. And feel free to correct me, but it was like the community and reading. It was a combination between those things.
It's just
You're drawn
really
in by the
the
community.
reading. Yeah, yeah, like, I mean, like, I started kind of, like, going to a masjid online and kind of, like, hearing what it was like on Juma. So we have prayer on Fridays, and so I would, kinda listen to them, and, like, I would also read the Quran and, yeah, so that's really what got me.
So you came for the community, but you stayed for the book.
Yeah, yeah, but it was nice to build community to just kind of, like, sit there and just kind of listen to people, because you don't have to technically participate if you don't want to,
Sure.
so I would just kind of sit there and listen and, because we don't have an imam. So it's just all of us together, you know, interpreting the Quran, which I think is the way it should be, using your own faculties to come up with what we think that this means. And I mean, a lot of us have like similar um beliefs, like, oh, we agree with what this person is saying, or like we may differ from slightly, and all of that was all fine because we're all Muslim.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter necessarily what sect you came from, but it's just what you believe. That if you believe in Allah and the last messenger and whatever, then you're Muslim.
How do
You're able to do it.
Sure. How do you deal with so I can't imagine being a practitioner of any religion and not coming to a point where there's something that you have going on in your life where it comes in conflict with like your beliefs. How do you
Mhm.
deal with that?
Um, it's difficult because I am a queer Muslim.
Yeah.
And so, I just think that everything is just pretty much a struggle in this life. And so I'm not perfect. So if I sin, I sin. And, God keeps saying in the Quran, He's a compassionate and merciful God. He's a forgiving God over and over and over again. So I choose to believe that Allah will forgive me um, for whatever I do, as long as I'm sincere about it.
Well, yeah, not only that too. One of the biggest draws to Islam to me, it knocks Christianity and Judaism out of the water because hell's not forever, unless like as long as you
Right.
believe at least.
Right. We and I believe that it like hell isn't forever. And I don't believe that it could be like temporary, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get out and you go to heaven. It's not something that like you are going to burn in hell forever and all of eternity, you know.
It's almost like your sins are burned away, and once you're clean enough, you can enter heaven. That's kind of how I
I
think of it.
I like that. Yes. 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 Very much like that. Yes.
It's funny because there's another parallel here to Mormonism. I think it's so that my favorite thing, maybe out of any religion, is in Mormonism. If you aren't Mormon, when you die, you go to a spirit prison, and you get another
Mhm.
chance to convert there. So if
Mhm.
when you die, you end up in a prison, just know that, like you just go, okay, I was wrong. Who's got the Book of Mormon? I know you guys got him here. That's the whole point of this place. Convert, and then you get to go to heaven. It's so cool. It's like the best. It's like the best, like
Yeah. Wait, is it
addendum
this
in
one
any
or
religion.
is it Mormonism or is it Jehovah's Witness that say
It's
that only
Mormonism. Oh,
wait that say
yeah.
like only 100 and something people are going to like get to heaven or get to be reborn, or is it both of them? I
That's
can't
Jehovah's
remember.
Witnesses.
Oh, okay. Also a cult. Get
Spirit
away
prison is
from them those
basically just
cults,
spirit. Yeah.
friends. Get away from those cults.
Um, it's really funny. Uh, fuck, I don't know whose quote this is, but somebody said that the only difference between a cult and a religion is that in a cult, uh, everybody but the leader knows that it's all bullshit.
Mhm.
But in a religion, it's the same, but that guy's dead.
Huh. Interesting.
I really have a hard time myself logically saying, okay, how do I separate a legitimate religion from a cult?
Yeah.
Um, what's the difference to you?
Between the religion and the cult.
Yeah,
I mean, a cult has to have someone alive pulling the strings. Um, like their focus has to be very self-centered for that to all happen. And I don't think religion is like very there's not like a person who's like, oh my god, pulling the strings per se, like the physical strings to like this physical world, you know? Who's like, you must do this because I say you must. You see me, then I am in the cult. If you don't see me, I you are not in the cult.
hmm, interesting. Okay, so would you think that like Confucianism is a cult?
No,
No.
I think it's a thought philosophy.
Well, I mean, people consider it a religion, though.
I mean, if you sure if you want to, but I think
It's
more
it
of
would
a
be non-theistic, yeah.
right. I think it's more of a thought philosophy. Same
Would you
thing with
say?
kind of like Buddhism too.
Okay, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. Um,
It's being also practicing being a good person and like being like Buddha, you know. And I mean that even in Buddhism, you don't have to have like you don't. you can still be two religions, basically,
Yep.
and still
Buddhism can
believe in
integrate into
Buddha.
other religions because
Yeah.
essentially it's just like studying the Buddha Sutra and trying to align yourself with the seven
Right.
tenets.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think I like that way of putting it. I think the reason why it would be like things like Confucianism or like Buddhism, these non-theistic philosophies get labeled as religion because people dedicate a large part of their life to it. They behave
mhm,
in it and like sort of commune with it the same way that somebody who has like a deity would interact with their religion.
yeah. Yeah.
It's sort of like the guiding idea for their life.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly that.
Well, when I was in the
Exactly.
throes of like studying religion super heavy, I was probably like 19, I want to say. I
Mhm.
sort of more or less it came up with my own religion, which is essentially that lying takes away, robs you of your humanity. That was the whole
Lying.
premise. Yeah,
So if you lie, you rob yourself of your humanity?
yeah. I think the way that I would word it now is that you become less every time you lie, because
Mm,
our identity is how we think of ourselves, a combination of how we think of ourselves and how other people think of us, in the
right.
way that we sort of two things interact with each other. And every time you lie, you are taking a piece of yourself and you are deleting it.
Mm.
If
Well,
I lie to
I've
you, how I exist in
uh,
your head is not going to match the truth of who I am.
right.
And therefore,
Right.
part of how I exist has nothing to do with who I am.
Oh man, I've done a lot of lying in my lifetime.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that. Damn. That's deep.
and I think that the only way to like really be who you actually are is
Mhm.
to like to like I don't even know, like truthify all your lies, go and like correct them.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think that that's like I mean I just sort of like walked away from it. It was like a fun thought experiment for like 3 days when I was working on it. But I still think that I adhere
Right.
to that pretty strictly.
Right.
Everybody talks about how honest they are. Like I am terrified of lying. Like it scares the shit out of me. I also
Really.
have obsessive compulsive tendencies. So like I basically have like one or two symptoms short of being diagnosed with OCD. So they say
Mhm.
you have obsessive compulsive tendencies, and if I lie to somebody, like I will in a panic attack tell them that I lied like the same day.
Oh
I'm really
shit.
really bad at it. Like I can lie just as good as anybody else in the moment, but if I do, it wrecks me. I'm destroyed by it. I will
Yeah.
obsess about it and it freaks me out. Yeah.
Damn. Well, that's good to know that you cannot lie. You are
It's really bad at it.
basically basically the good Pinocchio.
I, I think it's okay to lie to your parents and to employers. That's pretty much it. Because they
I've
have
done a
too
lot of
much,
that to both.
yeah, they have too much authority over you to where um,
Yeah.
they can take away your autonomy if you are honest
Mhm.
about things. And I just think that they
Mhm.
have an unethical amount of authority over you. So it's
Yeah.
okay to lie to them.
Right. Right.
But otherwise, I think you're just like hurting yourself.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's a I've done, like I said, I've done a lot of lying to my parents, and because that is a lot of authority, and
Yeah, it's unfair. If you can't lie to your parents
yeah,
or to your employer,
yeah,
I think that you actually can't live honestly then.
right, right. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, your employer, but like, yeah. I mean, I used to work at a place that basically, they would like your honesty, so if I wanted to call out, then I could be like, "Hey," and this is exactly what I did, is like, "Hey, like, I know I'm supposed to work today, but my friends came in short notice, from out of town, and they wanted to hang, so I'm gonna go hang out with them." And they're like, "Okay, go have fun." I'm like, "Bye."
That's pretty cool. Um,
You know?
that's a really nice relationship to have. I got fired from a job for things that I did outside of work before. So like I live in a
Oh
super small
no.
town. Basically, I got canceled before cancel culture. I had a shirt from one of my friends' bands, and
Uh-huh.
the band was called Scappata de Morte, which is Italian for "fuck the dead," and
Uh-huh.
their album was called "The Significant Kill," and it was like a sunset and like a silhouette of Jesus on the cross, and on the back in
Mm.
huge letters it says "I eat babies." Uh, and my boss, she wasn't wearing her glasses, so I didn't recognize
Uh-huh.
her right away. And I just talked
Yeah.
to her for a minute, and she was like, "That was really weird." I don't know if she was insinuating that I was like high or something, and I wasn't. I have when people change their face, it fucks me up really, really bad. I
Mm.
don't recognize if you're wearing a hat and you're not wearing a hat. I will have a hard time knowing that it's you. If you take off your glasses, same thing.
Right.
It's part of my obsessive compulsive tendencies. If I do know it's you and you change your face, it gives me
Mhm.
severe anxiety. I don't know. I'm a
Oh
nut.
wow.
But so I didn't recognize her right away. And so she was a
A
little
little
off put. And then
crazy.
she was like, "What's up with that shirt?" And I was like, "Oh." And I was at a public library, no less. That's where I seen her. And I got fired for wearing that shirt and not recognizing her. And I think that might inform just how much influence an employer has over you. To where I was just like, you
You
can't.
were outside of work. You shouldn't have gotten fired for a dumb t-shirt. Like you could have worn that to work and then put your like work shirt over it, you know? And no one would have given a like shit. Like, gosh, that's
Well,
dumb.
I think that might have made me think long and hard about how much you owe the employer.
Or was it perhaps she took offense to it because she's religious and
Almost
she
certainly.
didn't and she did not like her religion being mocked.
That may have also been the case.
Which again, you are in America, you are free to do that. That's your First Amendment right,
I also got in
you
trouble for
know?
wearing that shirt to school too.
Good job.
So I
Good job.
came to school wearing a Satanist T-shirt after that I had custom made.
Mhm.
It was a memorial shirt for Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, and on the back it said "Hail Satan."
Mhm.
They really didn't like that at my school, and so I got kicked out. I got like suspended for it, and I came back wearing a hoodie that says, I wrote in marker, "I'm wearing this because I don't have the same freedom of religion that a Christian student has," and I was threatened with expulsion for wearing that. They said I was
Wow.
inciting a riot. Nobody cared, and all the students were on my side. All the Christian students were like
Right.
100% on my side. They also banned the Satanic Bible from the school too.
That's dumb.
So I dropped out and got my GED. And I used to think like, if I was a Christian student, if the roles were reversed here, I would be like an international fucking hero for
Yeah.
just like dropping out of school because of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
you could have caught the grift. You could
uh,
have caught that money grift. Woo, you could have been rich. You could have been a right winger by now.
yeah, that's some famous making shit right there.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
But because I wasn't Christian, like just nobody really cared. Even the ACLU, I reached out to them, and they sent me an email that contained like a
Uh-huh.
similar case, which was somebody wore a Marilyn Manson T-shirt on there. There where
Mhm.
like Marilyn Manson was like beating Jesus or something along those lines. Like this isn't the same at all. Like
Right.
what?
Right.
Like this is him. This is like their freedom of speech, but like we're talking about my freedom of religion.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you don't have freedom of speech in school. You can
Right.
get sent out of
Right.
school for talking. But
Yeah.
kids in my school could wear there was the one that made me so mad when I talked to the principal. This girl had a shirt that had Jesus half naked on the cross, like head
Mhm.
bleeding and stuff, and it said, "Jesus died for your sins. What have you done for him today?" I'm like, how is that not a distraction to the learning environment, but my t-shirt is?
'Cause you're different. You're singled out for having your Satanist beliefs versus Christianity, which is safe and the norm for a lot of America. And it seems that because, it was made up and because it has the word Satan in it, it automatically correlates to the devil of Christianity.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, to a degree, they had the reaction that Satanists want Christians to have. The idea behind calling it Satanism is to challenge their ideas. It's to shock them, to make them look at themselves,
Right.
so that
Right.
they can't look at you without looking at themselves. Um,
Right.
but I then went to another school, and it was so cool. I didn't go to school on Halloween, and I told them they couldn't count it as a as an absence. It's an excused absence because it's Samhain, which is a Satanist holiday. It's the second biggest holiday in Satanism. The first one's your own birthday. And it was excused as a religious holiday for me. I was like, this place fucking
Wow.
rocks. And I remember I had a first edition Satanic Bible that I just like had
Mhm,
with me because I'd read it like in
mhm.
between stuff. And I remember this like way out of my league chick came up to me. It was like my first like 3 months going to school, and she's like, "You're into Satanism? Can you tell me about that?" She's like, "Is there stuff about sex in there?" I was like, "What is this school? How did this happen?"
Of course, if there's sex, everybody's there as a teenager.
Well, I feel
Everybody's there.
also if you're in an area that tells everybody that sex is bad, and this religion's like, no, it's like the coolest shit. Like there's a ton of stuff in
Yeah.
here about how it's good. I think that you're just going to turn people's heads.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. You know, because I mean, I'm surprised he didn't create Satanist Club. You know, everyone's got, Christian club, and then, come learn about Satan on
I
campus.
That might have been where they drew the line. Once parents start getting super pissed off, then that might have brought it down on me. But like, I wasn't. That's the whole point. Is I wasn't trying to be super loud about anything. I just
Yeah.
wanted to be able to do my own thing, my own way. Um,
Yeah.
I just wanted the same freedom of religion that the Christian students had, and that wasn't allowed. And so
That's
naturally, I doubled down as fuck.
as you should. As you should have, because that's your right as an American. Absolutely.
That's really how I felt too. I was like, this is America. I'm supposed to be allowed to have this. And previous to that,
Yep.
when I was like 13 or 14, I was Wiccan, and I just used to wear a pentacle necklace, and I was told I had to tuck it
Ah,
in middle school. This was down in a bigger city
you
too, and I
used
was
to
like,
be
why don't
Wiccan. Ah,
for like
okay.
8 years?
Yeah, I used to have a lot of Wiccan friends too. I mean, that was
It's
that was high school, you know. I hung out with all of the emo and the goth kids and stuff, so I had a lot of Wiccan friends and like a lot of people who were like Satanists in their own ways, and it's just like you do you, and I was the Christian goody two shoes hanging out with all these badass kids, apparently, allegedly, So yeah, no, I know what they used to do. They used to go and get high and go to parties, and I was never invited because I was a goody two shoes Christian girl.
I think if somebody said you have to be best friends, or like if they said you have to be best friends, or like you had to date somebody who's religious, like pick the religion, I'd probably say Wiccan,
Yeah.
like every
Why?
time. Uh,
What do Wiccans all believe?
I don't think it has to do with the belief. I just never met anybody who was Wiccan in my entire life who wasn't like a super nice, huggy kind of person, who
Mhm.
wasn't, when you meet them, that they're not interested in you before they're
Mm.
trying to talk about themselves. They're just they seem to be,
Mm.
it's a religion that sort of
Yeah.
has baked into it a compassionate, caring, nurturing nature. Like, I don't
Right.
think that you're going to make it in the religion if you don't have that.
Right. Right. Very much same way in Islam. You gotta, think about the other person too. Be caring and compassionate towards another person because Allah is the same way towards you. You should be the same way towards other people. It's just
Um,
being respectful.
So I've noticed a lot. Like I live near one of the largest Muslim communities in the United States, and the
Mhm.
thing that always seems weird to me is there's almost like a competitive. It's like a competitive religion almost around here.
Mm.
It
Right,
seems
because
like a
you
lot of,
said you live near Dearborn, right?
yeah. So it seems
Big,
like,
big, big Muslim communities out there. Yeah.
yeah. So it always seems like to me that like people are trying. So like not just like want to up each other with like how good of a Muslim they are, but also like um
Mhm.
there's almost like an inherent debt from one person to another. Like you have to do like something for me because we're both Muslim.
That's interesting. I
Yeah,
think more or less it's community because, like, if you are growing up and around that community and stuff like that, then I think it's more or less because you're Muslim, I'm Muslim, we can look out for each other, you know,
yeah. I couldn't tell if it was
in that sense.
cultural or if it was religious.
I think more or less it's a combination. It can't be a combination of both, but it's usually because you're Muslim, I'm Muslim, we can build community. And I think
Huh.
that's usually how that goes.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I can also see it being a competition sometimes of who's the more pious Muslim, you know, and having others, you know, kind of be like you're not living a good Muslim life, but it's like it's not my business. It's not my business.
Yeah,
Can
it's
I elaborate on the competition thing? It's more or less like who can prove that they're like if you're like talking to someone or something, it can be very slight in the sense of like oh, I'm the better Muslim because I'm doing all these things, or they can come to you and say like you're not doing this, you're not being very Muslim, you know. But it's like I am being very Muslim. It's just maybe not to your liking, but it's like who are you to tell me I'm not being Muslim enough? You know, you're supposed to be worried about your own life. You're not supposed to be worried like about my sins. My sins are my sins to bear. They're not yours to bear. I will proudly bear my sins because they are mine and mine alone, and they do not rub off on anybody else around me but me.
yeah. I like that idea. I'll see something like there will be an argument and somebody will criticize the other person for not probably something like you didn't go to mosque on Friday. Like I don't like you don't get to tell me how to
Mhm.
worship. But like
Right, right.
how are you to tell me like you went to the bar and you
Yeah.
drank alcohol? Like you
Mhm.
don't get to tell me how to worship. I'm the better Muslim than you. Like these are the kinds of things that I've heard.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
and
it's
but I feel like that can happen too in any religion too.
oh
You know,
yeah
can
This is
and
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
particularly
Yeah.
unique
No, no,
claim.
no, 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 no. And I just point that out just because like also felt like that in Christianity too, you know, where it's like am I being a good Muslim because this person seems more pious or they seem more Christianly than I am, like, you know, and that creates a lot of like self-doubt too, you know, by
If anything,
judging
I
someone
respect
if they are
Muslims
good
for it
enough
more.
or not. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this. By judging someone if they are good enough or not is arrogance, and that's true, very true.
Um,
You know,
I think when Muslims do it, I appreciate it more because it almost seems like they're holding each other to a standard that is at least agreed upon. But like
yeah.
Christians will be like, I remember I was smoking cigarettes with my uncle at a baseball game, and this woman walked past us and was
Mhm.
like, "All the sinners smoking in the parking lot." Like, bitch, that's not in the Bible. Like that's not even there's no sect where that's dogmatic. Get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here. You pulled
yeah,
that out of your
yeah. Oh,
ass.
oh,
You don't
oh,
like it, so
kitty.
it's not godly.
Oh no, oh no. Hold on, she
Oh
who's
my
my thing?
god.
Oh no,
That looks just like my
oh
cat.
no. Why isn't my
Huh?
thing working?
Come here, look.
Hold on.
She is holding bring him with you. My wife's gonna bring my cat now. This is
Okay, there we
crazy.
go. There we go. It's like,
Oh
wait,
my
okay.
god.
This is Rosie. Say hi, kitty.
This is
This is
unreal. My wife's bringing
Rosie.
mine. Lady,
Say
look at this
Hi,
shit.
kitty.
hi. Oh,
Oh,
he's
here you
double
go.
kicking you.
Move him towards the center of it more.
Is that better?
Oh. Oh.
Is that not the same cat?
They
Yes.
do look a lot alike.
That's wild.
Tonight. The bird
Oh.
noise.
What is he, 3?
Four.
He's 4.
Yes, this is my kitty. She's 1. She's a baby. She's my baby. I love her. Okay.
Very surreal to see you hold it. Literally my cat.
Yeah, that's her first debut, y'all. Let me get off some of this here. Yeah,
Um,
I don't really have her in here very often because, there's a bunch of wires and stuff, but I need to watch her for a little bit.
so I'm gonna toss you a more difficult question.
Yeah.
I guess there's a statement first, and then I'll ask you if you agree.
Okay.
Um, I think that the like if you're, I think that it's the only logical way to be a religious person who has like so it's like Jewish, Christian, Muslim, at least in Abrahamic religions. I would say
Mm.
that the only logical way is to also be agnostic. Is that you should accept that you can't know, but that you
Mhm.
believe, but you can't know. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, to a certain extent, I believe, but at the end of the day, like, I have faith that like, when I die, I'm gonna see Allah. I'm gonna go to one of 7 levels, you know, of heaven. You know? But at the end of the day, like, it's true, you can't know, but I do have faith that on the other side, that will, that'll be there, and I hope when I get to the other side, I get to see my family again, you know?
I
But
respect that a
yeah,
lot.
like, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know, but I have this feeling that we'll see each other again. So that's why, like, when someone in my family dies, I'm sad, yes, but, like, I have the faith that Allah will bring us back together.
I really, really respect that
Even
concession.
though that's not necessarily in the Quran or anything of that sort, that's just my personal beliefs over time.
Sure. I had a friend who was in a Bible study, and somebody said, "Who here knows?" The leader of it said, "Who here knows that they're going to heaven when they die?" And everybody but him raised their hand. He said, "Bill, why didn't you raise your hand?" I said, "Well, I hope I'm going to heaven when I die, but I don't know I'm gonna go to heaven when I
Yeah,
die. I don't
yeah,
know that any of this is real, but like, I hope it is. I believe it is, but like, I could be
yeah,
wrong." And I was like, "You're the
yeah,
first person that's ever said that,"
yeah,
and I find it really hard to respect anybody's blind faith about anything.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's the kind of thing that terrifies me.
Yeah.
I think
I think that's something that, like, I wish I had a little bit more of sometimes.
blind faith,
A little bit. Yeah.
is it for the
Yeah.
comfort aspect?
I think just because it's, I think, a more security in some sense.
Yeah,
Like, you just meet some people who are very religious and it's like, that they know, and you kind of wish you had that level of, like, surety.
sure.
Like, I just, like, I've always wished that I had that, and it does, and that's also even in Christianity, I wish that I had that, and in Islam, I wish that I had that, but, like, I try my best and I do my best, but, like, I'm also human at the end of the day, and I have the thinking like, faculties that Allah has bestowed upon me. So, yeah.
Maybe I can alleviate your desire for that because I've thought about this a lot. I think that if you knew, um, you're knowing like if there was proof of God, if I said there's proof of God's existence on the first page of this book, uh,
Mhm.
I would urge you not to look at it because you can't have faith if you know.
Hmm.
God wants you to have faith.
Interesting.
God wants
Yeah.
you to believe without being shown that it is correct. So I
Yeah.
think that nothing could damn a soul to hell in Abrahamic religions more than certainty.
Hmm.
Because that's
Interesting.
not what God doesn't want you to serve him because you know he's real. God wants you to trust in his word that he is real and that he has done the things
Mhm.
for you that he has claimed and for you to act
Mhm.
upon it accordingly with faith. Um,
Mm.
and I think that everything that these religions sort of tie together, it has to be that. Because if you know, you can't escape that you're doing things for the fear of hell. You can't escape the
Right.
idea that you're doing things to know that you're going to go to heaven. It corrupts you inherently to know.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I can get behind that. I haven't thought about it like that because, yeah, there are a lot of people, especially in my religion, who and probably in Christianity too, who do a lot. just to make sure that they aren't damned to hell,
Yeah, and
you
I think
know?
that knowledge would guarantee it.
Right, right, right. What
Um,
causes you to not have complete sureness? Um, it's just it's just I think uh, human fear
well, have you
at
ever
the
been
end of
wrong
the
about
day.
anything? Haven't you ever been sure and been wrong? I feel like we learned from a really early age that being certain is like really bad.
Right.
I think
I
it's good
mean,
to have convictions, but like if you get proven
right,
wrong, you know that you can be
right.
wrong. You can be sure and be wrong.
True. True. I just think that it's just a carryover from my views and my experience in Christianity, you know?
Oh, true.
You know? I think that some of that just kind of carries over because religion is still religion at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what you call it. So, yeah, I think that that's a lot of it. I am a revert. I converted a year ago and some days ago. A year and some days ago. So, alhamdulillah for that, you know.
Do you have any big issues with the Muslim faith?
Um,
You kind of like
I
have to work through?
I don't. I don't because I believe, like I said, in Quran only. And the Quran is perfect the way that it is. And if Allah really wanted to make it more confusing or different, Allah would have put it in the Quran. Point blank and period. You
Uh,
know.
do you think of the Quran as literal?
I do. I do.
Um, okay, then what do you think about what I said about the Bible in that
I just
panel?
don't think that the like the Bible has had so many iterations, right?
Well, I addressed
And
that.
and
You know what I'm talking
and
about?
kind of. Why don't you refresh my memory? Because I do have bad memory. But go ahead,
Okay.
love.
Any whether it be the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, I would say that in order to think that this is the work of God, like a glorious creator, that it could not possibly be literal. It must be written in a way, or inspired in man to be written in a way that no matter who picks it up at any given point in time, it could be mistranslated deliberately or by accident. It doesn't matter. When somebody picks that book up and they're seeking God, they will get God's message to them through their own translations of it, their own understanding of what those words are in that exact moment. That would be the glory of God. Like nothing could ever match something that impressive, no matter what. Only God could create or inspire in man words that could do that
When
and
you
be
put it like
timeless
that,
too.
then but I then in that case I would feel that way, but I feel like that's also a literal thing because God can literally tell you and inspire you in that moment for you to understand it and for you to call at that time that this specific moment, you know?
I
So I
suppose
think that
so.
I that's why I think it's literal because Allah gave it exactly the way that it needed to be and the way that it's supposed to be read and seen, you know? So that's why I say that.
Does the
But
Quran say that it's literal?
I do agree with you what you're saying. But the way that it's been preserved over time is what makes the Quran the Quran. But yeah, I understand that
Oh,
anyone can say, I know that any religion can say, this book has been uncorrupted for thousands of years, and this is like the book for you. I don't know where my cat went.
yeah, I would say that that's how God's word would be incorruptible. That even any
Yeah.
attempt to corrupt it would just serve as part of God's broader plan to reach in every individual simultaneously in the exact way that they needed to be reached by God.
Right, right, right. And that's why I say, like, the way that Allah speaks to me may be different than the way that Allah speaks to you. and that's okay because that's how Allah wants to connect with you, you know. It's not going to be the same for everybody.
Okay, I just looked it up and I didn't know that it is just generally accepted. It's not really contested. The Quran is literal.
Yeah.
What a what a fucking huge advantage to have in your religion, because that's like one of the biggest debates in the Christian community is whether the Bible is literal or full of allegories.
Yeah. No, I feel like the Christian Bible can be filled with allegory. I think it's full of allegory, but like I said, like I don't know, like there's just something about knowing that books were thrown out that really irks me. you know?
Uh,
Like that really fucks with me. That really does, because it's like Allah was like, "Hey, here's this book. I wanted it inspired by this person and it's here and some people have read it, right? And then it gets to the Catholic Church and they read it and they're like, "This is blasphemy to the fire." Like and then we don't know. Like that could have been very, very important to God, but then now we've just like fucked that up, you know?
yeah, there's a big problem that I have with Catholicism in general is that it's got a pretty nasty past.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I think it's really, really funny. People will pin a lot of things on Islam, which is really just a very small group of bad actors.
Yeah.
But when you look at the Catholic Church, like this is a pretty unified fucking force for a really
Oh yeah.
large part of human history.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was basically it was like the ruling government of what they thought was the whole world for a really long time.
Right.
And then you add in all the fun activities that the priests like to do even to this day. I have
Fuck
a
'em.
very hard time separating the institution from its past actions. Like if somebody goes, "Hey, I'm a Nazi," well, not like the old ones. Like it's really different now. We actually like do a lot of community work and we help people out. Like I understand in the past there was like the Holocaust. I'm like we're so much different. I'm like, oh, get the fuck out of here. You just told me
Yeah.
you're a Nazi and like I'm supposed to be chill because like you don't do like why are you using that name still? Stop it.
Right.
Get your swastika out of my face. That's how I feel about Catholics. Like
Yeah.
you
Yes,
can't
we
tell
do.
me that it's all just different now. Pick a different institution then. Make a new
Right.
institution.
You
Keep the
know,
things you like.
my thing is this is that like if you're going to believe in the Catholic faith, why do you need to use all of these people just to get to God? When in the like the Christian Bible, it never says go confess your sins to your priest. Where does it say that? Where does it say pray to Holy Mary? Where does it say that?
Yeah,
Where
that would
does
be a
it say
false
that?
idol.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's full of that shit and full of contradictions, and they hoard a lot of wealth. They have a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
history that they could share with the world, which would be glorious. But they don't because they're greedy and self-centered. But that's
Yeah.
just me. I have a question here in my chat real quick. What was your journey to Islam? Do you feel comfortable sharing? Yeah, I talked about this a little earlier, but um it's just been kind of my own thing, mostly reading the Quran really did it. I did kind of like hang out with my masjid online just like at the beginning, and everyone kind of knew that like I was kind of interested in it, and I would attend every Friday, um, and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just mostly me reading the Quran. It's something I was always very interested from a young age because like I knew of it, but like I didn't like really understand it. Like I had friends that were Muslim and that would explain different things to me, but like I wanted a full understanding. And when you become an adult, you can do that. And that's exactly what I did, because at that point you're out of your parents' house. You can think how you want to think. Cat getting into everything. So you'll hear a bunch of that. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, so that that's how I came to Islam. Alhamdulillah.
Um, so I'm not trying to really like put you under the gun here or anything, but I brought this up to my old boss's wife, and
Mm,
she really fumbled the response for me. So I wanted to ask you, um,
mhm. You
how
brought
do
this
you
up to your boss's wife. Okay.
well, my old boss's now
Oh, bosses.
ex-wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Uh-huh.
I mean, I worked there for like 5 years. It was chill. Like I'm allowed to step out of line a little bit here. How do you
Yeah.
feel about being a woman in a religion that isn't particularly great towards women? And she said, "Where in the Quran does it say?" So I pulled up the line, and as soon as I started reading, she goes, "That's what every single Muslim man says when his wife starts doing something he doesn't want." I was like, "Okay, but it's in there. How do you reconcile this?"
What part?
I'll just have to Google it
Yeah,
again.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Give me the ayat.
But I feel like you probably know which part I'm talking about.
It's possible. What's the ayat?
Let's see. I
Ayat,
know.
when I say that means verse.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, wait. There we are. I think it's Anissa 34. Is that a thing? Let's see.
Surah Al-Nisa. The men
Um,
are the caretakers of women, as the men have been provisioned by Allah over women and tasked with supporting them financially. And all righteous women are devoutly obedient and when alone protective of what Allah has entrusted them with. And if you sense ill conduct from your women, advise that them first. If they persist, do not share their beds, but if they still persist, then discipline them gently. But if they change their ways, do not be unjust to them. Surely Allah is most high and great. Let me go get my Quran real quickly.
okay.
Because there's a it has a little bit different. I have two Qurans technically, but
Sure.
I'll bring them out. Give me just a minute just to go get them.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back with them. Just give me a quick second. I just want to drink some water real quickly.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, I'm gonna take the liberty to fill up my glass of water as well.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
El Nisa 34. Let's see here. So, this is my favorite Quran.
Oh, nice.
This is the Quran, the Reformist translation.
What does that mean?
Um, basically, like it's just kind of like more acceptable, I guess.
Oh,
It is kind of
modernized?
yeah, if you want to say yeah,
Okay.
or modernized, right? There this I will admit that this Quran does have a lot of animosity towards it, and that's fine. I know about it. I'm cool with it. But yeah, you can see I've notated and everything on this.
Oh, that's what's up.
Let's see. Surround, right, because this Al Nisa means woman, and we are at Surah 34. Okay, so 434. The men are to support the women by what God has gifted them over one another and for what they spend of their money. The reformed women are devotees and protectors of privacy, what God has protected. As for those women from whom you fear disloyalty, then you shall advise them and abandon them in the bedchamber and separate them. If they obey you, then do not seek a way over them. God is high and great. So here, this is um what they have notated at the back for that. All right. So, four key words or phrases have been mistranslated by traditional translator to justify the misogynistic and patriarchal practices deliberately or unknowingly. A majority of translators render the phrase Kawadamatuna and al Nisa as in charge of women rather than provider for women or observant of women. Interesting, the same translation translates the verbs and mentions a couple other different um surahs, and observe they use observe slash maintain when the same verb is used to depict relationships between men and women. It seems somehow magically transforms into prescription of hierarchy and authority, and it continues on
Wow.
basically.
That book's so
Yeah,
sassy.
yeah, yeah. So it gives like even I like this because when I came from Christianity, it gives a good like overview. Like it mentions other like for instance like First Corinthians, so it mentions other like Christian like verses to kind of like compare and contrast and like how
Help build
it
that bridge.
right. So yeah, it like has a whole entire thing, you know. So yeah. The author really goes in ham on this. So, and this is online for free if you do want to download it and do it. He made sure that his Quran is free out there. If you don't have the money to go purchase a Quran, it's free. If you want to read
Um,
that, and if you want to read what uh, it says.
you'd be more likely to get it on Audible. That's available.
I don't know. And then I also have this Quran too. This is the first Quran I read, the Sublime Quran. It's translated by a woman, Leah Spector, and I do really like it because it is, and you can see I've also annotated the fuck out of this too.
Yeah, you have. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I really do like the way she wrote it, but she didn't give an explanation to like the chapters, so that's why I like search for something like this. And then like I do have like the other um big one that has like there's another very popular one that has other like detailed notes and stuff. But that also really relies fuck, hands on the floor. Nope. But it really like goes ham on hadith. And like I just I I just say no the hadith.
Um. So, well, I guess it would seem pretty obvious why so many people would go for the other translation. And
Yeah.
this isn't unique to Islam either. Like,
Hmm.
I've noticed a lot of like really interesting
Yeah.
mistranslations, or like even things that are overlooked in like Christianity or even Judaism. One of the things that I think is fascinating, that's ignored from Judaism, and I don't know if the Quran addresses this at all.
Those are my
So,
two Qurans.
um, Judaism is not a monotheistic religion; it is a henotheistic religion.
Mm,
Is this addressed by the? Let me just. I'm getting ahead of myself. Are you familiar with the term henotheism?
I am not.
Okay, so am I correct in understanding that the Quran observes the Jewish religion as part of like the religion, and like this is like the final chapter here?
Yeah, yeah, but
Okay.
like it like I said, the Quran does mention a lot of the same like like stuff from like say like Noah and the flood and things of that sort very similarly as
Well,
well.
sure. Is any final chapter of a book should they? Yeah, you gotta go back and touch on things that were mentioned before, and like with new
Right.
knowledge and things like that. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm not using that. I like. I'm not. None of this is me like trying to like dissect it or
Oh
like
no,
try to
no,
get
no.
you.
Yeah, I
But
got you.
this isn't a mistranslation or anything. In the Old Testament, there is a hall of gods. I don't know what the words they use, but Yahweh, the name
Hmm.
of God in the Old Testament, is one of many gods.
Hmm.
He's not the only God, and that's why one of the commandments in Christianity is that you shall have no other gods before me. In Early in the Old Testament, there's people worshiping other gods. It's always the
Hmm.
issue with like these other gods. They're there, they're present in the religion, and they don't say, "I am the only God." It's like I am the one true God, meaning that there are other gods. There's a lot of references to this, but like nothing's more direct than Yahweh being in the presence of these other gods. They're just like
Um,
not as worthy. So henotheism is a religion that acknowledges the existence of other gods, but like so like think of like Greek mythology, people would be like, I
I
worship
think I get
Athena.
what you meant.
I'm not saying isn't real. He's just
Yeah.
not my god. Like I understand if you
Yeah.
worship Zeus, I just worship Athena.
Right.
This
Right.
is like
Right. Right. Okay.
henotheism.
Okay. So in Islam, there is a verse. I'm not quite perfect on it, but it said that were 100,000 other prophets or gods or whatever you want to say before me, right? So God created 100,000 other prophets or religions or what have you before this one, and now this is it. He is the one true God, and this is the religion you need to follow now. But before, he has created other religions or prophets and things of that sort beforehand. And it does acknowledge that.
Um, okay. I think that it's I guess I always find it so it's like gets the word just be like wild or like wacky that like these religions have uh other gods involved, but they don't like talk about them almost at all. Like, what could
Yeah.
possibly be more interesting to discuss in these books is like why not these other ones? Like, what are you keeping from us? Like, why? Like, I understand like it shouldn't necessarily be a sales pitch, but I would like could at least demonize them a bit or something.
It's just like I created this beforehand and now it's done, you know? Whether whether people of today follow those same religions of the ones that Allah created, of the 100,000 that Allah created, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, I mean, God did it, but like now God's like, okay, come this way now. Come on. Come on. So, but like I said, I'm not God. Who am I? Who am I? I don't know, but like, if people believe in other religions, then that's fine, I'm cool with that. I'm cool if you are Native American, you believe in Native American things. I'm cool if you're African American, you believe in African American spirituality and the different, things, then that's fine, because technically those are my ancestors, so I get it, you know. But
Oh,
yeah.
wait, sorry. Maybe there's a slight maybe I'm not getting this part across. It's not that why wouldn't you worship these ones, but rather it seems weird that these religions treat it as though there is only one God, but by the religion's own admission that there are other gods that exist.
It's more or less is that it's just acknowledgement that Allah did it. That's it. It's like maybe I can look this up real quick. Oh, I'm not maybe following. I can't find it. But yeah, that's basically what it says.
That just like
Yeah.
God created the other lesser gods.
Yeah. Yeah. They're basically like other prophets or what have you. Um, but yeah.
Um, is that your? You
Or
said that a
like
couple times.
10,000. Yeah. But basically, yeah, beforehand.
Is your
It's
understanding
out
of
there.
this like the lesser gods are like and prophets
It's
would
not
be like
necessarily.
interchangeable?
I don't know. I don't know because
Oh,
it's just
okay.
said that it just says that Allah sent it down to mankind.
Yeah, and I'm not like demanding that you know every
Right, right.
aspect of the
No, no,
religion or
no,
anything
no, no,
either.
no, no. I totally get it. But like that's just what it says. So that's why I'm just yeah, like sometimes you just don't know, like, and I'm fine with that, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be like you better fucking answer
Yeah, no, no,
these
no.
qualms or
I don't think anyone,
concerns.
right. I don't think anyone in any religion is perfect about knowing everything, So,
Um, sure, fair enough. So one of the other things, my favorite thing about Islam is because like I look at a lot of religions from like a more or less like a I look at a lot of these things as like it's like mythology to me. So there's things that
mhm,
like I think are like particularly cool or interesting.
yeah.
Islam has jinn, and I think that's like ridiculously fascinating to me.
It has
Uh,
what?
jinn,
Jinn?
yeah, they're kind of like demons, but they have free will.
Oh, oh, yeah, 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 the
Born of
gin.
fire,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Um,
it's up to them to choose whether or not they want to follow Allah or not. Yeah.
yeah, it's like so crazy to me. Like in Christianity, like angels and demons seem to just sort of be like agents of the corresponding higher figure.
Right.
But jinn aren't.
Yeah.
And I think this is like from like I hope that doesn't sound disrespectful when I say, from like a storyboard perspective, this is good.
Hmm.
This is very
Right.
interesting.
Right.
My biggest critique on Christianity is that their stories kind of fucking suck. They're not very interesting. Like the best one you have is the story of Job. I think,
Right.
like David versus Goliath is all right, but like compared to like other religions, like Christianity
Yeah.
is like D tier in storytelling. Um, yeah, Islam's got a few things, but I think that the jinn are by far the most interesting part of it.
Yeah.
Does that come up a lot in
It does. It gets mentioned in the Quran, like I said, about the jinn, whether they have free will and like if whether or not they choose to follow Allah or not, it's up to them. Yeah.
uh yeah, but my understanding is that like they whisper to people, the ones that choose not to
Um.
follow.
Yeah, like you protect yourself from the jinn who choose to like lead you astray or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was interested, is this like a large talking point in like the Muslim community that you're involved in?
No, because like I said, the Muslim community that I'm involved in personally, my personal masjid, we're all young, you
Sure.
know. So like it's not like a thing for us technically. We don't really like I think that is all individual on how whether or not you grew up in Islam or not.
Sure.
So yeah, that's not something that like really comes up, but I mean that's part of like one of our prayers you can pray and um from the Quran, and it does mention like protect us from the jinn and the fire. Um yeah.
Okay. Um, Interesting. What I assume the protection is that's being asked for is protection from like being tempted by the jinn.
Yeah, protection from Allah or yeah, from Allah, from them or other people who whisper evil to you.
Would you think if this is like when you're tempted to do something that you know that you shouldn't, you would just like more or less
I
like think that that's
don't
what
know.
that's happening there?
I think that it's more or less like,
And when I say
I
you, I mean like actually
no, no,
you.
no,
Do you think of this?
do I think of this?
Yeah,
I
do you
don't
think of it in
know.
that way? Oh,
I don't know, to be truthful. Because like you could
fine
be
answer.
led astray in many ways,
Yeah.
you know,
And
but like
that's what I think
also
would be
too,
interesting. How
like
would you know the difference?
right, and that's the part you don't
Yeah.
know. You don't know. So that's like hard to like, you know, do because like I said, I'm a sinner and I know it, and I'm cool with my sins. But like, yeah, like I don't know how I would be led astray, you know, if that makes sense. I think that it's something that you if you know in a way,
I mean,
you know.
surely you've been tempted to do something you
I
shouldn't do
I
before.
mean, yeah, but like I said, I know that my God is a merciful and forgiving God and a compassionate God. Huh. That's a
Sure.
nice conundrum to think about.
There has to be, yeah, there also has to be like a division between like my God's merciful and forgiving, and then like uh it's kind of like the kid who does whatever the fuck they want because they know their parents not going to actually do anything about it, right? Like this is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
problem. As a parent, you got to be
Right.
like, well, no, you can't just fucking you can't do whatever you want forever and continuously get away with it. At a certain point, you have to put in some discipline, otherwise, like they're
Yeah.
lost.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
How do you how do you envision that line? Like, how do you walk that line,
Hmm.
or how do you like
That's such a
what do
great
you
question.
where do you feel like that line is, and like do you have like a sense of like I need to fucking chill out and not sort of like take advantage of the grace that God's bestowed for us all.
I think that we all take advantage of the grace that God has bestowed. at the end of the day, we're selfish beings. We are very selfish beings. I know I'm selfish. I'm an only child. I like getting my way, you know. Um, but I don't know. I've never really sat and thought about that, really.
Wow. Uh, to me,
You
the
know?
idea that I would become deeply religious, particularly like with an Abrahamic faith, is terrifying to me because like I'm a big like moral philosophy nerd. Like I'm a deontologist. I
Mhm,
have to
mhm.
do like I like it's like I'm religious, but I wrote my religion myself.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I strictly adhere to it like a fucking insane person. Like
Right.
uh like Carrie's mom locking her daughter in the closet to keep her from sinning in the movie Carrie.
Yeah, I
That's
remember
me with
that.
my own belief system.
Yeah.
But I don't my belief system doesn't make me fuck over my kid. Um
Yeah.
but like I'm
Yeah.
just like insanely adherent to it. So I would be so afraid that like if I was persuaded by Christianity, I would ruin my life. Or like
Yeah.
Islam or anything, I would have to follow the rules uh because like I know I just have to.
Yeah.
Uh and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would spend a ton of time thinking about them and like I would probably like be like an asshole and be trying my best to figure out ways to like circumvent the ones I hated, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what's the loophole for me here? How do I get around this? Because I don't want to do that. That would be me. Could I actually justify this? And like,
I
but I'd
mean,
have to
I
be
mean,
really honest with myself. Like, does this really work?
yes, because I mean, Allah is nice. He gives you provisions. He gives you kind of excuses, like right. If you can't pray on like on your legs or something, you can pray on your side. If you can't get out of bed, you can go on your side and pray. You know, so there are like provisions and ways to kind of loopholes that Allah has provided that you can still achieve your goal, but you kind of, a little lazy, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
But like,
I, I think I'd
yeah,
fall
like,
into the
but I,
trap
I
of
mean,
having to
I
be super
mean,
honest with myself about it, and I would just hate it.
and
I would
and
be
and that's why
tortured
I
by
say
it.
like I'm so honest about my sins. That's why I say like I'm honest about my sins. I'm a fucking sinner. I know I am, okay? I know I'm not pious. I know no one should look up to me over my religious beliefs. I understand that fully because I am not God. I am not perfect. But I try my best. I try my best to follow my religion, to the best of my ability, but I am human, okay? Like, I like bacon. I'm not going to lie. I still eat bacon because it is good, but I know I'm not supposed to eat pork, but at least I don't drink, but I'm still open to drinking on special occasions for specific reasons. I'm cool with that, right? But those are all sins I have to live with. Those are not sins everyone else has to live with. They're my
Sure.
sins and my sins alone. So I only have to worry about what the fuck I've been doing. That's my only thought, you know? If that all makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Ironically, I mean, you can tell by looking at me, I've eaten a lot of bacon in my life. But pigs were the first thing to go. Um,
Yeah.
because I just found out how smart and they're too emotionally intelligent for me. It first hit me when I found out they can play video games. They're basically as smart as like 4-year-olds.
Oh
They
wow.
have best friends and they mourn the death of their loved ones. And I was like, ah, fuck me, dude. I can't be the reason why a pig
That's
misses
all
his mom.
animals.
No, no, no.
All
They
animals.
are emotionally intelligent. Not all of them. There are others like cows cry when their babies are taken away from them, and I hate that too.
Yeah.
So like
That's why I don't eat beef.
and so
But I
like
will eat chicken.
that's how I know that religion would ruin my life because
Yeah.
when I learned just enough about animals, like I was like, fuck, I guess I have to be vegan. I have no way out of this.
Yeah.
I can't look at myself and think that I'm a good person or that I'm doing anything right with the information that I have. And I also know it's not right for me to bury my head in the sand either. So like if I was religious, I'd just be like, fuck, I'd always be like adhering to all these rules, and I'd just be like, can we just make it stop, please?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't want to be religious anymore. But I know that if I uh received like revelation, I couldn't deny it. And that's one thing that I can't, like, I can debate people on religion, but I can't ever tell you that if you had like revelation that it wasn't real. If you,
Yeah.
to me, to tell somebody to ignore all your sensory perceptions, to take the thing that guides you throughout your whole entire life and discard it because other people have an issue with it, that's insanity.
Yeah.
If you ignore your senses in favor of an idea,
Mhm.
we would call you crazy every other time.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm here to say like you're crazy this time too if you throw it away.
Right. Right.
So I don't
Exactly.
think that religious people um aren't necessarily crazy when they talk about like revelation, but even religious people will discount other people's uh revelatory experiences, which I think is kind of wild. Have you ever had like a revelatory experience where like for lack of a better way to put it, like heard the voice of God? And I don't mean like you heard English in your ear.
No.
No.
No. Have you?
I might have. I had some
Yeah.
experiences.
I mean,
Um,
like, I like, as far as I know, like, I've seen shit, but like, I don't know how to quantify it, if that makes sense. But like, I have never been like, I've been down on my knees and I've heard Allah just speak to me. I've never had that happen. You know, I wish,
yeah.
but like, I'm not that person, and I feel like that happens to a lot of people. But like, I just think that Allah just speaks to you in an individual way that it's meant for you. Like, there's some things in my life that I know that I see, and I know that's Allah just 100% speaking to me, and that's just the way that He gets to me. But yeah, no, you don't get to go on the computer.
Yeah, I think that if God were to speak to somebody, God would probably speak through coincidence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I think that God speaks to you in your own way. Like, I know that, like, there's something that I see every day, and I know that is God, and I know that's my way. I know, and I know what to do when I see it. So yeah, you know.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
have a problem with people like thinking that they could hear the voice of God like talking to them the way I would talk
yeah,
to somebody.
yeah.
That just doesn't add up.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right, right. Because that's not never been like, and that happens in a lot of religions. It's like Allah has talked to me. I hear Jesus has talked to me. In that moment, I just knew what I needed to do. That's never happened to me.
yeah, so like I could accept if somebody said I had a vision. All right.
Yeah,
I can
you have a
accept that.
dream. Yeah, uh-huh.
I think dreams are a bit weaker. But if you have a
I
waking
mean,
vision, well, I mean, a waking vision versus a dream, I would give a lot more credibility to the waking vision.
hmm,
Uh,
yeah.
because I've had some wild ass dreams. Uh, I also, I met a guy who he got put in the nut house because he thought he was Jesus. And I talked to him,
Every
and
time.
uh, the thing that bothered me about him is that I said, all right, buddy, why do you think that you're Jesus? And some of the things that he told me were kind of unbelievable, anyways. But I said, all right, so why does that make you Jesus, though? These aren't
Right.
even like really Jesus y kind of miracle things. Like, why couldn't you be like some sort of sage or some other kind of special person? Why Jesus?
Yeah.
And one of his things he said is, I wrote my name when I was a baby. And I was like, wait, did you write down Jesus or did you write Craig? And he just sort of froze in place. Um, and in every other way, he was totally normal and sane. And he gave
Yeah.
me a book called the Albigen Papers. If you're religious in any way, I highly recommend reading the Albigen Papers. And in that
What is
book,
it?
the author talks about meeting a guy who was sane in every way except for the fact that he thought he was Jesus. How fucking weird is that? Um, Albegan
Okay.
Papers is written by Richard Rose. He's a guy who entered ministry when he was young, and he realized that none of the people in the ministry knew God any better than he did, and he just sort of went on his own
Yeah.
spiritual journey in learning
Mm-hmm.
about God his own way. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the best books on the idea of seeking God that I've ever read.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
and I think it probably stuck with me more because of how I got the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that if you're a person who ponders the divine a lot, it's an essential
Yeah.
read. I don't think
Yeah.
that it has like any there's no like secular line to it. Anybody of any faith could pick it up and read it and get something valuable out of it. Or even if
Mm,
you don't have any faith.
yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. At least it's not as bad as Hadith. So,
Uh
which I hate. Burn Hadiths. Burn them. Burn them. It's
uh,
all a lie. Don't do it. Don't believe it. Quran only.
one of my chatters made a joke, but it brings up a good question. He says, "What's it called? Vegan God?" Um, a guy. Have you ever heard of Cosmic Skeptic?
Mm-mm.
He has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of like philosophy stuff, and he eventually became vegan. But
Mm-hmm.
before he did, he brought up one of the biggest problems with Christianity, and I don't know if Islam has an answer to this, is
Hmm.
animal suffering. It doesn't address animal suffering. Christianity doesn't.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm interested, like, how does Islam tackle animal suffering?
We don't tackle animal suffering either.
I think that's a problem.
I mean, we're given we're letting the pigs live.
Wait, say
I
that
mean,
again?
'cause, we're letting the pigs live by
Yeah.
not eating them.
So
But yeah, like we don't really reconcile anything
people
over that.
people like to talk about just like lives lost, but it's a lot bigger than that. Like the amount of suffering that animals endure, not even just from us like eating that, like killing them to eat them, and like all the torture that goes into us
Yeah.
farming them and all that. But like
Hmm.
humans' existence is immensely torturous to unfathomable, more than billions of animals.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
so it seems like a divine creator with a like a supreme plan for everything has sort of created a lot of life that that's sort of like required to endure immense suffering just for us to exist. And
I mean,
it
like
feels extremely cruel.
it that's not even that. It's just like even the Quran addresses like life is humans, like it's suffering. This life is challenging. You're going to suffer in this life, So if the animals are gonna suffer in this life, humans are gonna suffer in this life too. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm just talking out of my ass.
we have
Um,
intellectual capacity to well, like the thing that we have to aid us in suffering is our mind.
right.
Um, and like you said, you don't watch a lot of them, but like in horror movies, when somebody's being tortured, the first thing that they ask when they see the assailant is, "Why is this happening to me?"
Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They don't have that. That they just have like their ability to suffer is like on such a higher par than ours because they can't comfort themselves with anything, and it just seems like a benevolent creator could not possibly create this kind of like unimaginable suffering to be almost not. It's like a nonstop machine of suffering, whereas humans like we kind of have like highs and lows, but we'll like very few human beings will ever know the suffering of like an animal whose life is like put up against like human comfort.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think this question is way the fuck out there. It is way the fuck out there. Because that's hard. That's just hard. I don't know. I think that's my
Sure.
best answer for you is I don't know.
Uh,
That's a good philosophy of a question, but like or
and
philosophical question, that's the word I'm looking for, sorry. But yeah, like I just I don't know. I mean, think about this for Hajj, we slaughter a shit ton of fucking lamb, okay? And even I can't get with that, you know? Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to go to Hajj because the way that Saudi Arabia is,
Mhm.
you know? And that makes me really sad. That makes me really, really sad. But yeah, like so many lambs die. Do you know how many lambs die for Hajj?
I have a
Like,
pretty good idea.
it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot. Okay. You
Um,
know? And
the num
Hajj is supposed to be 3 months long, which they don't make it 3 months long, but it's supposed to be 3 months long. I have a lot
uh
of issues with that, but there's nothing I can literally do about that, sadly.
yeah. So like you say that 3 day thing is bad, but like 72 billion animals are slaughtered every year. So and like that's with like a focused intentional purpose, not like just sort of the accidental killings and all that. So I'd say that
Yeah.
this isn't me trying to like push you towards going vegan because it doesn't solve this problem with God. This is the problem with a
Absolutely.
benevolent creator. I think it's something worth considering.
Mhm.
Just the amounts of suffering because this is the guy who first introduced me to this problem by watching his videos. He was a Christian for some
Mhm.
point time in his life, and
Yeah.
one of the biggest issue, like he said, this is the biggest issue with Christianity. The idea that there's a benevolent, loving creator that's also sort of like forced these beings without the kind of agency. So like I think most religions would say that human suffering is caused by human decision.
Right. I think, and you know what that makes me think of is makes me think of Native American spirituality, which I'm also Native American too. So
Oh, stop.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, when you get to see me and especially my dad, who he looks so Native American. But anyways, um, it's like when you kill an animal, you thank the animal for its spirit.
Hmm.
And there's like supposed to be a way, there's supposed to be a halal way that you kill an animal, you know? But like, yeah, I think that if you're thankful about killing the animal that you're gonna eat, that's yourself, that's something. But I think a lot of that qualms that you're speaking of speaks to an agricultural machine that we don't have control over. Now, if it's something like I said, you killing an animal yourself to go feed yourself or your family, that's one thing. But I think that once I think that that's just an overall mass agricultural thing that we do to produce food for people.
Yeah, I always say I think hunting is better than any kind of farming because at least up until the
Right,
point in which you
right.
kill the animal, they're living their
Right,
own
right.
life.
Like if you live on a farm, if you're a farmer and you do that stuff and then you have animals on your farm that you raise to kill, then that's on you. That's how we lived for thousands of years. But yeah, yeah, that's far. But yeah, Islam does not reconcile that qualm whatsoever. Sorry to say, friend.
Um, yeah, I don't know like how you interact with the community and all that, but if you ever get any insight into that, I'd be really curious about it because it's the kind of thing that it seems like no Christians really want to tackle.
I don't
And
think
it's
anyone
tough.
wants to
It's tough.
tackle it. Yeah, that
Sure.
is like I said, yeah, that's a way out there question because yeah, no one wants to tackle it whether or not you are secular or not.
Um, yeah, I've heard some people say like so like the most extreme things that I've heard, and even in the UK, they're pushing back against like animal rights bills by saying like animals can't feel pain, even, which is the most
We don't
insane fucking
know.
claim.
That's the things that we don't fucking know. We don't know.
Well, we kind of know.
Well, to an
They
extent.
react the same way that a human would if you hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I personally never killed an animal. I've never, would I be interested in it because I'm doing it to feed myself? Yes, but that also comes with a lot of apprehension
hey, let me put
as
it this
well.
way. Uh, I'm 110% vegan, but if I'm gonna starve to death, I'll kill a fucking person to not die. Okay, if I have to kill somebody and eat them, that's just self-defense at the end of the day.
I mean, I wouldn't kill a person, but I
You
mean, I
die
would
first,
because human life is sacred, friend. Like
so is mine though.
killing one person is like killing the whole of humanity. That's what the Quran says.
Well, if I don't eat them, I'm killing me. And
You better go find an animal to go kill. You better
well,
go
I'm
find an
saying
animal.
back against the wall. I'm not saying, of course, I would pick an animal before I'd pick a human, but I'm saying if I'm
So
locked in a
basically, you're
box with another
saying you're a
person,
cannibal, right?
I'm saying
That's
that
what you're saying.
everybody would be a
You
cannibal
are
if
a
they're put in that
cannibal.
position.
You are a cannibal, and that is fucking disgusting. How dare you? How dare you say you like eating people? What is wrong with you, Drazi? What the fuck? No, I'm kidding.
Well, if I'm being honest, it's more
Right.
it's more of a the
Someone
cannibalism's more of
post
a
that and make
sexual
that.
thing, to be
Oh
honest.
no. But yeah, we don't do that shit. But yeah, I wouldn't. That's just not my jam. Just
uh,
not my jam.
Interestingly, right below stupidity, ungratefulness is another really big sin in Satanism.
Oh yeah, that's what this book says a lot of ungrateful, and I get triggered by that word. I do. I get triggered because my mom told me I was ungrateful a lot of my life, and so reading this the first time was so
Ooh.
triggering for me. So triggering.
People seem to mistake the
But
idea of being ungrateful for the desire. You can desire for more
mhm,
and be grateful. I
yeah,
think being ungrateful would be to not appreciate what you have. Appreciating what you have does not bar you from desiring something greater.
right. No,
And I
no,
think that
absolutely.
what your mom's talking about is probably just like some slick ass way to say, "Shut
No,
the fuck up! I don't want to do. I don't want to do the other thing you
no,
want me to do."
no, what she was saying is that like I was being ungrateful for whatever the fuck she was doing. So
Yeah,
whatever she was doing for me, I was ungrateful and unthankful for whatever the fuck she was doing. Moms, we got difficult relationships. Moms and daughters, we got some fucked up relationships. Let me tell you. But I do love her at the end of the day. Don't
I
get
don't
me
think
wrong. She's my mom.
I don't think I have
But
to be grateful
yeah,
for something that somebody that I didn't ask for.
true.
If somebody,
So true. I feel that in my soul. That's so
uh,
true.
like if somebody brings me a cheeseburger and I say like I'm not gonna eat that, you're ungrateful. Like, no, you're inconsiderate. You're
Yeah.
trying to you want me to be grateful for something that I wanted you to not do. Uh,
Yeah.
that's not me being ungrateful. That's you you're appealing to an audience that's not for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No. True. True, 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 true. You know.
Um, what's something that did you have any misconceptions about Islam before you entered the religion?
Options? No.
No?
No.
Yeah, there wasn't a
No.
single surprise coming in. You're like, I know what's up here.
I think I'm just more or less I was just open and receptive in my heart to what it was saying, you know? Because like, yeah, you can look and see how people live, but that's not what you should look up to. It's the word of God that you should look up to, you know? So, yeah.
Has your has your life improved since becoming religious?
Has my life improved since becoming religious? That's a good question. I feel like I'm just grateful at the end of the day. I don't know. I mean, my life is a struggle. This dunya is a struggle. And I'm not saying that my life has been easy because it has been far from easy. I broke my leg this year. I spent my birthday in the hospital. Okay? If that ain't the biggest fucking reality check, you know? And then you still have to be grateful that God gave you like the ability to still be alive after slipping and falling and just breaking your leg and not even hitting your head or anything, you know? Like, you know, grateful for that reality check. I don't know why it was for, but it happened.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah, you know, this life is a test. This life is a test, and this life is going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. You know, this life is not meant to be easy.
yeah, that's something that I think about a lot. Yeah, I touching on that, Spaxon. They said something that similarly mirrors what I was gonna say. Um,
Mhm.
so like I have like I think I told you before we went live that like my body's wrecked right now from working on my vehicle. Like this
Mhm.
hurts for me to lift
Yeah.
my arm up. I'm pretty out of shape to be fair, but I also have chronic pain, and I often think about like it feels a bit unnecessary that our capacity for physical pain is what it is. Um,
Yeah.
like it seems like we've been granted such a high degree or high capacity for suffering
Yeah.
that seems to butt heads with like benevolence as well. Do you
Yeah.
have any? Do you struggle with that at all? Like when you broke your leg?
Um, like I said, it was just hard. You know, I'm just like I was taking out the trash for this computer that I'm on, which I was really excited to have and get, and then, you know, but like however God wanted to work through me is however it's supposed to be. You know, who am I to be like, well, it happened, you know, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm answering this question correctly if I'm understanding it right.
I think so. Does anything challenge your faith at all?
Has anything challenged my faith? No.
Interesting.
No, because I'm like I said, I'm focused on me. There's nothing in my life that's gonna be like and my family's not like, you know, you shouldn't be religious or whatever. And I try to have people around me that are respectful of my choices, you know? So there's nothing like in that, you know? There's nothing that's gonna like forces are gonna like go up. Now if I'll put up some forces, that's a different thing. But have I struggled so far for it? Nah, it's been an easy year so far.
That's
You
what's
know, I
up.
can't I can't necessarily like, you know, do Ramadan and stuff all the time because the way that I am, but like yeah, because I take pills and I have to drink water and I have to do all that stuff to keep myself healthy. So, but like I try my best to just be a good Muslim, just be a good person. You know, I may not pray all my seven, prayers or five prayers a day or whatever, but like I'm still thankful for God. I'm still thankful every day that He's a merciful and compassionate God. And like I said, when I see what I needed to see every day, I'm thankful for what I see because that's because of Him or them, I should say. Because God is either male or female. We don't know.
I think that the pronoun for God would just be God.
God, yeah, yeah, basically Allah, Allah. That's right. Like that's what I say. Like when someone dies, you say, from him we come from and to him we return. So I just say from Allah we come from to Allah we return,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I would love to write a Quran, um, and just take out all the he's and just say Allah or I to make it easy, because like I said, it's supposed to be genderless. But like I get the time that the Quran came out and you had to use a he. I get it. I get it. I recognize that.
Do you ever get disturbed when you hear people's stories about them losing faith? I think
I think
there.
everyone goes through that though.
Yeah, I
I think
it I can't reconcile it. Somebody says like I lost my son, or like I went to college and I did all this stuff to be like a pilot, and my vision went bad and I can't be a pilot. Like why would God do this? It always just seems like they never understood what they were like doing to begin
And
with then?
right, I feel like then it's supposed to be another door that's supposed to open then. That wasn't supposed to be it. And that's really what it is. And I think questioning God, why would you do this, is fairly normal for everybody. But like at the end of the day, that's
Well, you said
life.
it. You said it though.
You
This
know?
life isn't supposed to be easy. It seems like God's
Yeah.
promises in all the Abrahamic faiths is to challenge you, to
Yeah.
help you through hardships, not to give you anything. Nothing is granted to you. Like you're not granted a good life. This is
Right.
nothing that's promised. So by not having a good life, to have that challenge your faith in God, it seems like your faith in God wasn't so much faith in God, but it was lending credibility to a nice idea when things were easy.
Right. And that's why it says, it's like the Quran says, just don't thank God when it's easy. When the good stuff happens, don't just thank God how when all the good stuff happens to you. Thank God for when all the bad stuff happens to you too.
Uh,
Like that's real shit. Like, and that's hard. That's hard. And I will admit to that. That's hard. When I'm going through hardship, I want to be like, I want to do this. But like at the same time, you gotta be like, I gotta put on the crutch for Allah. Like, I gotta lean on that crutch that Allah's gonna just pull me through. Like it's gonna happen. And I've seen it and I felt it and I know it. God has pulled me through so much, and I'm thankful for that. Extremely thankful for that. Alhamdulillah.
you've given me a lot more respectful answers than probably anybody else I've talked to with the kinds of questions that I've thrown at you. It seems like a lot of times most people in your situation would get like shitty or they would try to turn things around or something like that. I really appreciate the way that you've operated throughout this entire conversation. You've sort of taken me at my word that I'm not trying to like be bad faith or like get you or like convince you of anything. It's really nice to have this kind of conversation in a subject that I'm so interested in without having like just without you being like shitty to me about it. It's
Oh,
very valuable to
no.
me.
Yeah, like I like talking about religions. I think we've kind of touched on a bunch of different religions. And like I said, I think that that's all interesting. But it's all really about how you come at the person. If you're going to come at the person sideways, you're going to get sideways answers, right?
Sure.
You know? But if you come to someone direct and just curious, then you're going to get respectful and curious answers back.
Sometimes I think when people take offense where there's no offense intended when it comes to religion, I see this as a sign of somebody weak in faith.
Mhm.
Um, I tend to be on the I tend to think of it as if you have convictions in your faith, you would welcome any challenge because they can only strengthen your faith then.
Yeah. 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 100%, you know. Um like last week when they came at me, accused me because I'm Muslim and because countries throw gays off the roofs and stuff. That's all because of my religion, which also the Quran says nothing about queer people like me because I'm a queer woman. Says absolutely nothing about being gay directly. Okay, and everyone brings up the story of Lot, and I hate that shit because the story of Lot is supposed to be about men who are married who rape or degrade people sexually, especially men or women. That's what that story is about. Okay, to my understanding now. I accept anyone else's provision over it. That's fine. That's your personal beliefs. That has nothing to do with me. Okay, don't try to force that shit on me. But that's my understanding of it, you know. So yeah, that's just the way it is. I'm sorry, I could probably like veered way off.
Um, I I think I appreciate the way that you sort of fit these things in. I guess there's a part of me that wonder like I guess it's there's like an inherent wonder when I hear somebody talk about their religion the way that you talk about it. Um if there's any like internal cherry picking happening, but I think I just from talking to you, I think that I don't know. Do you ever feel like? Do you ever get the internal sense that like when you struggle, you're gonna try to like seek out a what's the word? An interpretation that's going to like bring the word to your side?
No,
Do you ever do you do anything to like check yourself for that?
no,
Oh, so
no.
so so
There's nothing that I'm not like, yeah, there's nothing that in the Quran that I'm going to be like, I'm going to try to fit this to my interpretation of what's going on.
well,
No.
no, I'm saying that I think that people are sort of inclined to doing that automatically.
Yeah,
Um,
no. No. I'm not. I'm not because my faith relies on Allah alone.
well, what I was
You
asking
know.
is, do you do anything to like check yourself to make sure that you're not doing that, like out of respect
No.
for God?
No, I should, but
Oh, see, that's where
I
I think
don't.
I would get caught up in that a lot
I
if I
don't.
was
I don't.
religious.
I don't just because I think I've just lived my life the way that I've wanted to live my life, you know. And I think that Allah just accepts me the way that I am. He created me this way. And so I'm not perfect. Like I've continued to say, I'm not perfect. You know, like I should read the Quran more often. I should. I will admit that. I should pray more often.
You do
But
have an interesting
uh,
blend of like realism along with like religion that's not very common.
yeah, because let's read this. What's the first? Let's see. Okay. There is a part in this book where it says, give me a minute to find the. No,
Yeah, no problem.
I can't find it.
Oh, you can paraphrase if you would like. I won't hold you to it.
Um, oh, kitty. There's like a part in there like that pretty much says like Allah, like the first thing that Allah said to Prophet was like read and recite, which tells you basically you have your own faculties to think and recite and read. So I think of it like that. As long as you can think critically, then you'll be okay. But if you can't think critically about your own religion and your own capabilities of what you are able to do, then you're just a sheep.
Uh,
That's really what I think. You're just a sheep because if you can't come to your own conclusions using your own faculties, then I don't know what to tell you.
that's fair. Um,
You
you've
know, and
been
I see a lot of that in Islam. And trust, there's a lot of imams that people follow online or in different places, and it's just like that's cool and all, but God gave you the ability to think for yourself. You should use it.
well. You can't really blame these people. I think a lot of
You
these.
should think critically, read and recite, my loves.
Here's the thing. I think that there is, no matter what religion people have, there is a God above all other gods in this world, and people
Yeah.
worship it no matter what they say, and that's the dollar. And if there's money to be made off of persuading people to um, listen to the word of their God in a certain way, somebody's gonna make money off of Christians. We have evangelical priests. I'm sure that Islam has the same kind of thing.
I mean, we're supposed to give some money, which is called zakat.
Mhm.
That's like our provisions that we're supposed to give.
Mhm.
Like to like the poor and stuff because the Quran is very specific about doing good for the poor, the feeding the hungry, freeing the slaves, you know being generally good. So we have that, but it's nothing to the sort of like, I mean, every sect and every masjid or people are different, but it's nothing to that sense of like Christianity.
What you're saying is God is a communist.
God is a communist. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. God's a communist. God's a
Uh,
socialist.
seems
You
like
know?
Jesus was too, but
Yeah,
uh,
Mm,
his followers
true.
sure do seem to hate
True.
Jesus's actions.
Okay, they really hate what Allah has put down in front of them, Yeah, yeah, you're not supposed to hate and like do all this shit and worship money, and I get we're all part of, that shit, but like,
Yeah,
yeah, no, God is definitely a communist and probably a socialist. Absolutely. Because he wanted to do well for everybody, not just the rich people. Everybody.
yeah. Um, that's all I have as far as questions for you. Did you have
Yeah.
anything you wanted to add? Anything you want to ask me before we wrap it up?
No, I think I'm pretty good. I don't know if your chat has any questions for me, or if my chat has any questions for me, or for Drazi or anything of that sort. Now would probably be a good time to speak up, friends.
Agreed. I'm gonna send you uh two things after this. A lot of my ideas about God are encapsulated in these two short things I'm gonna send you. Uh,
Uh-huh.
uh, it just it doesn't seem like the it just seems like better for me to just send it to you rather than play them on stream, I guess. But if you
You can
want, feel
play
free to
it
let
on
me
stream
know.
if you want to.
I think it just makes more sense to have you like just like view them on your own and think about it.
Okay.
And not none of it's long though.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, we talked a lot before this even started.
Yeah.
You're pretty chill. I fuck with you.
Yeah,
You seem like good people.
I try to be, I try to be, like I'm
Oh yeah,
pretty much myself on online for the most part,
I
like, and
am
like I said,
brutally myself on here.
and like I said, unless you come for me sideways, then I'm fine. Like I'm a chill person. I'm from California originally, so keep it chill. Keep it chill, you know. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is my way of making friends. I have no IRL friends.
I did until they shut down my local game store. I'm a big Magic the Gathering player, and
Oh,
actually,
you were one of those
I
people.
still am. That's my job now. I run. I have a card retail store online. That's my life. I sell
Why
Magic and
don't you
Pokemon and One Piece.
It's like, why don't you just start your own business selling cards or like
I
doing a game
do.
shop?
That is what I do. Uh,
Oh,
they have the
I
largest.
want some Pokemon cards. Give me some Poke cards.
I want
Send me some
Pokemon
Pokemon
cards.
cards. I have a bunch of them in my like binder from when I was a kid. I like put them in the
Oh my
like the
God,
little
sell them to me.
slots and stuff. Oh no, don't you know that stuff's gonna be worth something? Like Beanie Babies is gonna be worth something
Pokemon
someday.
cards are worth something. I have right
Barely
here.
worth anything.
This
Barely
is
worth
this is from the
anything.
first set that ever came out when I was a kid.
Is that first edition card?
It's not first edition. Actually, this is from the fourth print run. It's the UK print run, and it is the
I think I
second
got
rarest
someone
print
from
run.
my chat in UK. Hey, shout out UK.
So the first one
Actually
is
love
first
London.
edition, and then they did
I've been there.
two unlimited runs, and then the British unlimited run has a different year on the bottom. And then they have the shadowless ones, which is really low print, but the UK one is the second lowest print run of the base set. So
Yeah.
they're worth pretty good money.
How much roughly? Give me some numbers, babe.
Here's the thing: I just found out about this. The largest online marketplace, TCG Player, doesn't even distinguish the UK print run. So I just found out about this like 3 or 4 days ago, and there's not a lot of information about it. But it seems like you can go on eBay and list it as like this print run, and
Mhm.
people who are on there seem to pay more money for them. So I don't really have a clear scope at just how much more value there is, but there is a difference. And I'm
Interesting.
terrified that I have sold some of the more like rare ones and foils from the first set that might have been that. I have no idea now. And I'm like, shit, I
Uh-oh.
wonder if I missed out on like a couple $100 on these cards.
You sure did. You sure did. Shame on you.
Even if you Google it, there's
Shame
only a
on
handful of
you.
pages that talk about it. So I'm gonna have to do some
Really?
homework. Yeah, it's really weird because these things have been
Hmm.
around for like 25 years or something like that. Like I feel
Yeah.
like this should be a more noticed thing.
Mhm.
But I guess it's not. So I'm gonna try to been gonna be doing more homework on that over the next week. So I have
Yeah.
like I think yeah, I have like a little pile like maybe this big of just ones that are from that print run soon. Maybe a little extra money. I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
any
sent you
questions?
my Epic
Yes,
name
I
by the
got
way.
it.
We can play
Yeah, I
Fortnite.
got it. Oh yeah, let's play Fortnite. Do you want to play?
Well when I get off of here, I'm gonna go check on the puppies and see my wife before she goes to bed.
Oh, of
But
course.
I'm on all of the time. If you see me
This is
on, invite
all
me.
I play. Here, hold on. Let me grab my Switch real quick.
I play League, Fortnite, and Magic and Legends of Runeterra. That's pretty much all I play right now. But I'm gonna be streaming Resident Evil 4 in the near future because I don't do a lot of gaming streams, but that was my favorite game as a teenager, and they remade it, and I have it. I just haven't picked it up yet.
Nice. Yeah, I try to be a variety gamer, but I get very frustrated with games. I need guides. That's my thing. I'm a person that needs guides to get through shit.
Sure.
So, that makes me feel some type of way that like I'm not like, that I'm not as good of a gamer as I want to be, but like I just need some guides, yo.
Yeah, I watch a lot of videos on League because I'm, you
Yeah.
know, that's why I can't believe in any holy books. Because if any of them were real, they would have told people not to play League of Legends. God would have known in advance to warn us.
I'll make sure to add you to my gaming with friends
That's what's up.
Discord, so that way we can talk and hear each other and play Fortnite together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a list of people I play I play with on a regular basis. Makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah, I
You
mostly
know?
play games with my wife or just by myself. So it's nice to have other
Yeah.
people to play games with.
No, for sure. That's pretty much after we get done with this, I'll be playing some Fortnite because that's what I do. They just
Uh,
got a new Nike thing, so and they took off ranked for some fuck
I
shit
know. I don't know
reason.
why. That
I
was a
think
big
it's just
draw
like
for
a
me.
issue. Yeah.
My wife and I played 6 games before she could play ranked, and we got
Uh-huh.
first 3 of them. We got 8th,
What's
5th, and then one of them we got 50th because I fell off a cliff and died, and then she just
oh
followed me.
shit.
So we were like, wow, we're pretty good at this. Like, I can't believe she never played before, and I almost never played before.
Yeah.
So just playing other shooters seems like it's funny because I was like, well, I wonder how many of these people are like 8-year-olds playing this, and I looked it up, and according to Epic, nobody under 18 plays Fortnite. Period. When they give the age breakdown, it's all
Really?
18 and up. Yeah, it's obviously not true because it's like
What's
18 to
what's
24
your
is
Epic
like
name?
35%. I sent it to you.
What? Just tell me it real quick. Is it the same as your
Uh,
thing?
no. It's Diodice1.
How do you spell that?
Uh, Diodice1.
D-I-O
Yep, Dice1.
D-I-C-E.
Yeah, like dice, like you roll
Dice
them for
one.
dice. Yeah.
Dice one.
Yep. And then like
That's
like
it.
number 1 at the end.
Let me turn this down before all this shit gets. That's all it is. Dice one.
DIO first. DO.
Oh, oh, D-I-O.
Yeah.
No, I get DIOC 158.
Try copying and pasting from Discord.
You're on my Discord. Give me just a second.
Yeah, I
Hold
DM'd
on.
it to you a few minutes ago.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just switch screens real quick. I'll just switch it to gaming real quick.
Sorry.
It's cool. Ah, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I see where I fucked up. What? It doesn't come up? Wait, did I
Really,
spell it wrong? Hold on.
I was say I'm looking
Oh,
at my
no,
name on
no,
here.
no, I spelled it wrong. What the fuck? Come on. There we go. Did you get it?
I did accept. All right. If nobody has any questions, I'm gonna get out of here. Feel free to add me to add like any games if you see me on. In addition to all those other things, I have to use the restroom.
Okay. Do you want to play after you go to the bathroom and you do everything? I'm gonna do probably a couple rounds if you want to hop in. You're more than welcome to.
So I don't know how many orders I have. I have to fill my orders, and then I'll probably just be on because that's what I do. Just add me. I
Yeah.
have ADHD as fuck, so I might forget.
No,
But if
it's
you see
fine.
me, add me. It'll pop up, and I'll play.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, just hop in my Discord or whatever.
We'll do.
And then or like I said, hop me in the message and then yeah, like I'll add you and everything. No problem.
All
Thank
right.
you again. There's so much for this. Oh, let me not. Let me do this way. For this chat. I
Yeah.
really
Thank
do
you.
really do appreciate it. I like I said, I love talking religion. Anytime you want to talk religion or anything of that sort, let me
You might
know.
regret saying that. I love
Let
talking
me
about
know.
religion.
Like I said, as long as no one comes at me sideways, you won't get sideways like responses. Like I said, go back and watch that video. I did publish it. Like I said, fast forward to
Oh yeah, I will.
the end. Fast forward to the
Samantha
end,
Banana.
and then yeah, hit me up after you watch that shit, and then tell me how many fucks I had to give and where those fucks went. You will get that answer. That is your homework for tonight.
You got it.
And then let me know how many fucks I gave and where those went.
Oh boy, a challenger has arrived. Queen Alexa says, "Wait, there's someone coming into this space called Queen. Who the fuck is this?"
I am the queen. Hello.
Well, you said who is this? When I said the debate queen, that's her name. Or Queen Alexa, she said no.
Queen Alexis. No, babe, I'm the queen. Always have been since the day I was born. I
Have
may
you
not
met
have
Queen
my
Alexa?
crown on right now, but no, I haven't.
Oh boy, you guys should talk sometime. Or not, I don't know. I guess she laid into Samantha Banana pretty good. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Maybe I'll watch it on stream.
Oh, if you watch it on stream, then I have to be there because I
Okay.
I got some shit to say.
Oh, you got it.
I got some shit to say. So no, you cannot watch that by yourself. Oh shit! There goes my cat. Turned on the fucking water. The fuck. But yeah, you have to have me on stream for that because, like I said, I got some shit to fucking say. You know. So
All
you can't
right.
just leave the black person hanging like that.
Yeah, I'll include you. Maybe I'll play it while we play games, and
Oh
we
yeah,
can
for
talk about
sure.
it while it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'll figure out how to do that.
Okay, I got a couple links to send you. I gotta go because
Okay.
I gotta go to the bathroom like bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
All right. Thank you
have a good
so
night. It
much.
was I guess nice to have like a one-on-one conversation with you. Say nice
Yeah.
to meet you, but we met on the panel, so
Yes, but that's still the same. Thanks, Jazzy.
you're
Have a good
welcome.
night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. What is guest Discord? I think it's just the debate queen. Queen Alexa, I'm not surprised at all. Samantha Banana has large Queen Alexa energy. I left that because it was supposed to be like a panel about like religion stuff. It's called the Queendom, Sfaxon. But it ended up being like a conversation about like world history and like the Constitution. I'm like, that's not what I fucking signed up for. I only do panels now if I care about the thing enough to interrupt people. Well, me and her are like nukes. Yeah. You guys have very, very similar energy. I gotta go. I have to use the bathroom so bad. This is a longer stream, and it was like 2.5 hours of setting up, so it's more like this feels like a 5-hour stream to me. You might have seen I was gonna drop by and say hi. So that's it for me. I'm gonna stream Res 4 probably tomorrow. So I want to play it, and if I don't stream it, my wife will kill me. She wants to see me play through it. So you guys get to suffer through that. And somebody said they wanted to see me play Condemned, Criminal Origins. So I'm probably gonna pick that up and play it because somebody asked me to. Well, I'm glad you made it, Sfaxon. It was nice to have you. All right, that's it.